This is a HeadGum podcast.
This week on the program, well, this is right near the bottom of the MCU barrel. It's Thor the Dark World. I'm Andrew Jupin.
Steven Sadakheim, Helen Fleidelheim.
Gesundheit, I'm Eric Siska.
Chris Cabin.
And we hate movies. Hello, everyone. Welcome to We Hate Movies. Thank you for tuning in. As always, if you're here finding us because you're an MCU fanatic, strap in. We are fanatically talking about Thor the Dark World from 2013, directed by Alan Taylor. Now, I'm told this is Chapter 2 of Phase 2 of the MCU.
Oh, is that true? I don't know the
The
phase.
cool thing about this is all the things that happen in this movie get undone in like 39 seconds in the next one. So.
That's very nice. I gotta say.
Oh, really
And
nice.
what's the next one?
Ragnarok. The whole Loki thing
Ragnarok.
where it's like, oh shit, Loki's posing as Odin as like the big
Right.
ending of the movie.
Sure.
That gets done away with in like 10 minutes.
How
And
do,
then-
now, how do they explain that away?
I didn't rewatch it, but I reread it. Something like Thor just finds out and then he confronts him and then like, well, where's Odin? And Odin's in Norway and then Odin just dies. And then Kate Blanchett's like, can we do the rest of the movie now,
It's
please?
Amazing that you were able to reread Thor Ragnarok before you got here.
On the Wikipedia.
Yeah,
I
that's
see.
what we
Not the novelization.
No.
Now, did you print that out on the train?
No,
to
I just did
parse
some-
through your documents, your business papers.
This was a saw in theaters for me. I believe I said last week, I think it was.
Yeah.
You and I,
Yes,
Eric,
I
were
think we might have.
very high. Some Chris Cabin confections may have been
Sure.
in the mix.
Wasted on this movie.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
this,
totally.
On paper, though, this movie seems like it would work for me specifically as well,
Yes.
because it's like, okay, dark elves. There's like a albino sorcerer king that wants to take the throne.
Yep.
Yes, please.
Sure.
Mhm.
And I don't really get it in this movie.
No, I would say my big problem with this is we always Marvel TVized movies. This
Yeah.
is the most TV movie feeling of them to me.
Really?
Now, what do you mean
This-
structurally? Cheapness?
The
What
look,
are you talking
the look specifically. I would say
yeah.
there's no
Right.
like big peak. There's no big sequence where I'm like, holy fucking shit, they're doing it.
No.
But I would say the closest we get is the invasion of Melekith, the first time that he's invading
Asgard.
Asgard.
Yep.
That's I
Yeah.
like the design of the ships. Compliments end there.
Can I say the design of the fact that we have ships at all is
Sure.
kind of bothering me because starships and stuff, like, why is every single movie of this has to be identical?
Yeah.
Every
Yeah.
single one has to have spaceships float around, and it's like you can just have the dark elves be just
Magic
give me a-
their way in.
Yep.
Give me a fantasy world. The frost giants of the first film I rewatched in preparation for this because
That
I'm
I did also rewatch.
because I'm a journalist with the utmost integrity. And that movie, I think, is better. And the Frost Giants don't have spaceships to attack your fucking planets with. I am so tired of seeing spaceships attack planets.
Well, that all of these Marvel movies had to be science fictionized at some point,
Right.
because that is how they bridge the gap between all of them. Is
Yeah,
that
but-
space is involved
and
in it.
you know immediately in this movie that it's getting science fictionized because you see these dark elves. The masks look cool, the faceless little masks,
Yep.
but they're using blasters and lasers and
Yeah.
stuff instead of just swords, which Krull did to great effect. But Krull took the time for you to go on that hero's journey, and you got to see beautiful, sprawling landscapes, different locales, and in this, it's the same boring fucking castle.
Well, you've got Earth, you've got Asgard, which is only one castle.
Yes.
And then you've got Svartalheim, which is piss world for me. Like it's
Mhm.
Yeah.
that's just
Svartalheim is the Dark World one.
Yes,
where
the where
there's
everything looks
nothing?
like somebody
Yeah.
pissed on the camera, and then you have to look at it.
Right,
Oh,
'cause
great.
it's
It's
like-
a DC movie for
Yeah.
fucking 20 minutes.
You're
Right.
not wrong, dude.
Yeah.
It gets that like piss green yellow. You're totally right. It's like Ninja Turtle came on the lens.
The glick.
Oh no, sorry, Alan.
It's like an American movie trying to depict Mexico.
Yes.
Totally.
Benicio del Toro was leading Josh Brolin through it.
Dude, they must be hiring. They were hiring Hopkins for just like these openings of like in the time immemorium there were the dark elves.
Oh
It's like,
yeah.
oh boy.
I'm a little on the fence. What do we think about them just being like, they're the dark elves? You know, they're dark elves.
Well,
they're not the Hafarians or like what,
Yeah.
there's some.
I am fine with that, and I feel like they should have rolled with it instead of having them be dark elves with science fiction nonsense.
I mean, it's not even. I mean, that part is bothersome, but the problem is like you have Christopher Eccleston, who's a really good actor
Oh, yeah.
and
Great actor.
can certainly play a villain.
couldn't
but they
tell
get-
it was him.
Couldn't tell it because he's under fucking 3 pounds of makeup and speaking a garbage language that no one ever fucking heard.
Okay,
Thank
wait.
you.
We got to address that, dude.
Thank
the
you.
Elvish. Here's the other part of this, dude. Don't try to fucking trick me to think I'm watching Lord of the Rings. or
Exactly.
Game of
Oh,
Thrones.
Jesus, yeah.
Get that shit out of here.
You're-
Have them
yes.
speaking English the entire time.
You're not Lord of the Rings. The Frost Giants of the first film spoke English.
Yes, and the
It's a way to-
Asgardians speak English.
Yes, which they shouldn't as well. It's
Yes.
a way to simplify it for me, the dumb ass audience.
And you're just making it harder for Christopher Eccleston to do anything in this movie, on top of the fact that there's 61 side characters that get more screen time than he
That
does.
is a great point because you're not going to hit like kafluff blah blah the
Exactly.
way you would hit a fucking-
Revenge. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like, revenge.
Exactly, a fucking real word.
Well,
Yep.
Eccleston is also known for talking fast. That's
Yes.
like he like plays with language and tempo. And just for him to be like, "You will die today."
That's what's asked too, is like through most of this performance, it's a garbage fake language. And then when he does speak English, it's not even anything great. It's just, get out of the way, Thor.
Yeah.
And you're
It's
like, all right.
greeting
Well-
cards for people you hate.
We'll get into it. I don't understand like even what the end game is because usually like he gets,
that's a different movie.
oh yeah, that's very true.
Ah.
It's like, you know, he gets the MacGuffin, the ether, and it's like, oh, if he gets this certain spot, oh, he got there, but like it'll take a while longer. So just, you know, it's just gonna eventually it's gonna fuck everything up. But if it's, you know, it's,
Yeah, if
Yes.
you wait around. Oh boy, you wait around.
This-
It's gonna fuck things up.
This crimson piss is going to fuck your life up so good and hard. My God in heaven. Yeah, I mean, what? It's can I guess the thing is I like a lot of the little touches in this.
Uh-huh.
I like the black hole grenades.
Those
yeah,
are cool.
oh, I do
Those
too.
are fun.
Yep.
Those things like
Very
the little
cool.
tiny touches are okay.
Yes.
It's just all of the movie sucks.
Yes.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
meat of it sucks.
Because we get the opening, it's Anthony Hopkins, and he's telling about how the Dark Elves were pushed back by the Asgardians.
Do you know where the Dark Elves came from, Steve?
No.
Darkness.
Oh, God.
Mm.
Literally, the opening
Yes.
line of this movie is Anthony Hopkins going, "From darkness, there came the Dark Elves." And I literally wrote, "Great."
What
in my
happened
notes.
to the rest of the elves? Did the Asgardians genocide them too?
Probably.
What of the wood elves, my good fellow?
The light elves. The light elves is what you would love to see.
And where be David the Gnome in all of this?
But it's just the elves.
I have no quarry with you, David the Gnome. You and your fox can go.
That's fantastic. I'm going to go back to starring on the Father Dowling mysteries.
But they're so ill-defined, the elves in general. You know,
Yeah.
their entire culture, their entire thing is just so ill-defined.
Well-
and it's been done so much better in other fantasy, Lord of the Rings.
Big time.
Even the Witcher TV
Yeah.
show, I think, is
What-
doing a good job by elves.
The big like problem with like Eccleston's character and all of it is the motivation is, you guessed it, power.
Exactly.
I'm going to rule everything through power.
Oh,
And
that's
it's
a good
like,
idea,
fucking
man.
great. At least like, you know what? At least with Thanos and all that shit that just it gets way too convoluted and overall does not work
Yeah.
for me. Whatever. But you know what he wants.
Yes.
He wants to get the fucking jewels in the gauntlet, snap his fucking stubby little grape Tootsie Roll fingers, and be done with it. And that and that's his mission. And it's a
Yes.
very clear thing.
Yes.
This is what he wants to do. This is just like, I want more power. And also, I'm pissed off at Asgard because Thor's dad was a dick to me and trapped me like in a thing.
Dude, Thor's grandfather was
Grandfather.
bad.
Odin's father. Because
Yes.
that's the other part of it. The narration later continues and he's just like, and the Dark Elves were being dicks, so my
Just
dad came in.
Show me a flashback of that, sort of like a Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yeah.
Give me some dude in this fucking red armor impaling elves, and be like, okay, I see what they mean.
Oh, here comes Grandpa. You were always best with the sledge, me older.
Take down them elves.
Dude, it'd be awesome. It's just Leatherface puts out his big beefy arm and he's like, and then like a sledgehammer flies into his hand.
I mean, that's the thing. Leatherface, much like Thor, like not everyone can lift that chainsaw. You
That's
know what I
very
mean?
true.
Like,
That's true.
people can't
Very
just lift
true.
it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Many
even
have
if
tried.
you can't be just beautifully swinging it around like
No,
that. I mean,
no.
the guy's got grace.
The shot, literally the shot of Odin's father when he's like, we have to keep the ether.
Yeah.
It is like dead exactly that bitch who's like, we can't throw the ring in the fire.
Yes, exactly.
It's like
yep.
literally the
Yep.
same fucking shot.
You're totally right.
And it's like, okay, cool. We're just doing fantasy nonsense. Apparently, in I think they even filmed stuff where like something Christopher Eccleston had a family and they all died and blah blah blah. So this is like a revenge trip for him.
No, he
And
didn't.
Not in the movie.
No, he didn't.
I would
Something.
rather have that. And to your point of fantasy nonsense, I'd rather they lean into that.
Yes, oh for
Then
sure.
lean into the sci-fi elements, then lean into the
Kat Dennings.
Huh.
boy.
That's this movie's greatest. Well, I don't know, but it's one of its biggest mistakes is thinking anyone gives a shit about these Earth characters. The greatest move the movie makes is taking the Jane character, Natalie Portman, to Asgard
Yes.
and removing the Earth component and just have a fucking other realms adventure with her.
She should never go back. The movie should never go back to Earth, honestly. Like, because it doesn't matter. It's because I was reading like a lot of stuff like, oh, blah, blah, blah. Like, oh, it's cool because now Jane's the fish out of water in this one. She's not. She's on
No.
Asgard for like 9.5 minutes.
Yep,
Alice
yep.
Krige is vaguely rude to her, and that's it.
And then she has to cower behind Rene Russo for 15 minutes.
Exactly.
I'd cower behind Rene Russo. Don't worry about it. I'd let her protect me. It would be awesome.
Oh, Frigga.
She's really protecting me.
But if we had to, like, there's like 17 like real characters in this movie because not only is
Yeah.
it you got Thor, you've got Idris Elba, you've got the Warriors 3. That's 3 more right there. 3
Yeah.
more dudes.
Yep.
You got Sif. You've got Jane. She's got to have her fucking friend Kat Dennings. Kat Dennings gets an assistant. Like
Gets an assistant.
we're just and we haven't even talked about the dark elves. Like, you know what I mean? Like, this is a
Yeah.
movie should be like
You gotta
Excuse
pare
me,
it
Chris
down.
O'Dowd.
Chris O'Dowd is
Chris
floating
O'Dowd,
around.
which is, by the way, check in your elementary school backyard there. You dig up a time capsule, you might find Chris Dowd in there.
Dude.
That's a way to perfectly crystallize that this movie came out when it did.
Yep. Oh, this movie screams 2013 because Chris O'Dowd is in a fucking Hollywood motion picture. Absolutely. Nothing against him. I think
No,
he's
I
great.
think
funny
he's
guy.
charming enough, but it's just like, whoa. I remember when they tried to make him.
He's
a
just
thing.
dropped in these like tiny roles in these movies, and he never got a chance to break and do his own thing.
He literally did an interview. He's like, I do not remember making this movie. He's like, they had me for a day, and
Yes.
like I do not remember the experience at all at this point.
And again, why not give those 5 to 10 minutes he eats up in this movie to Malkeith, who's the villain? You know what I mean?
Right.
Or or even to like, Thor and Jane, like flesh that out more. Like,
yeah, or cast him as Darcy's assistant.
yes.
Yeah, because he's more compelling and interesting than the guy they got for that role.
Well, Darcy's assistant needs to be somebody. He needs to turn into like, and then at the end he's fucking Nova or something.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that
And
way. it just-
Shapeshifter.
if
Yes.
you're doing that, as much as I wouldn't want, I mean, he's not like he's good in this. Remove Stellan Skarsgård completely.
For sure. There's no-
What is he doing in this?
Oh, excuse me, he's showing ass.
Yeah,
Okay?
that's showing ass.
He's
That's-
showing some ass.
Which
something
I
funny.
appreciate an Eric showing ass in a
See,
film.
come
I do
on.
But, like,
appreciate it.
support.
At the same time, though, it's just fucking degrading. It's just like,
Yes.
here's
Yeah.
this great actor, and it's like, run around Stonehenge nude. And I guess all of that is because of like the effects of what happened to him in Avengers, because like Loki's in his brain through
Sure.
a lot of that movie.
Can I just
controlling him or whatever.
Can I just watch a movie and get enjoyment out of it
No.
without having to pull up a road map?
Yeah.
Because, like, honestly, and obviously, I like certain sagas and stuff like Star Wars or whatever, but I need to be able to turn on one of these movies and enjoy it from start to finish and have an idea of what is occurring
Yeah.
without knowing the overarching, saga.
And
Right,
sure.
this movie could work without doing any of that stuff, but they decide to do that. And Loki has no business in this movie. I mean, like, I'm sorry, like, and he tested. Like, people loved him in Avengers.
Through
so
the roof.
They put him in this movie. Like, he wasn't in the movie. They're like,
Right.
got to bring back Loki. Like, okay, to do what?
Well-
And then he's in a cell throwing a cup for half the movie. We have to keep, again, cutting away from Malky. Look, we're going to watch fucking Loki throw that cup one more time.
That makes sense because I actually like the first 45 minutes of this feels like a movie.
Yes.
Once Loki is unleashed and it becomes that thing into the ending,
Yep.
I'm like, I don't care.
Yep.
I don't know what you're doing, but I do not give a shit about it.
As soon as Loki is broken out of that prison, I was like, oh, this is the exact moment where it detours from like a fine science fiction fantasy film into just MCU cookie cutter shit. Because
Yeah,
he
yeah.
clearly has no business in this movie. In the last movie, in this saga, it's the Avengers where
Yes.
he's the bad guy and he's fucking defeated, and bring him back to Asgard and he's just in jail. And this whole thing
Yes.
of like, well, he's a fan favorite. Okay, great. So is fucking Tony Stark. You didn't put him in this movie.
Like, just you could have one scene with Loki where he's in jail. Maybe it's a next time gadget. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Or the
That's fine.
stinger. That's
Yes,
the
exactly.
Stinger.
The stinger, like, oh, maybe he does trick Odin, and it's like, oh shit, what's gonna happen with Loki? Because he doesn't do anything in this movie.
He's supposed to have his Silence of the Lambs scene, and he doesn't even get that.
Yes,
It's literally him just in fucking talking to Rene Russo again.
Yep.
And I hate to harp on it, but I just feel like this could have been an outlet for them to do like a serious go at a fantasy film. And I feel like they're trying to gear up again with this. Is it Black Knight with Kit Harington?
I don't think
I
that's
know what
happening.
I don't even
It's
know
not
if that's
happening?
I don't
Okay.
think that's happening.
Right, it's probably not
Disney
happening.
Plus at tops.
Maybe.
It's
yeah.
not happening because he's now going to
Doing
do
the
a
snow show.
Snow show.
Snow show.
All right.
Which I guess he went up to HBO. Like, what if now this is going to be crazy? What if he had more adventures and I was in it and it was like Jon Snow being cool?
I was thinking, what if I had a job again?
Totally weird idea.
Yeah.
You
yeah.
pay me to be on television.
What's sad is I'm not even against it,
Oh.
really.
Okay, you can. Yeah, it stings a little bit, but you can say Game of Thrones presents Snow. I don't like it, but
But if they
I'll
did
let
that-
Is it just called Snow?
I
Yeah.
don't. I think that's the working title. I don't know what's
I
going to
think
happen.
the head of
Oh.
HBO was on Ventura Boulevard. He got hit on a red light, and Kit Harington came out with a bucket and water, started cleaning his window. And he's like, "Oh, this is so fascinating to meet you again. I just had this great idea about Jon Snow after everything happened."
Quick question. Would you like to buy this nice leather Eternals jacket from me?
Oh, did you see the Eternals? No, nobody did. No, of course not. No, because how about some more Game of Thrones?
I also have this mixtape you could buy.
I
They
will
should-
say
they should call it the Night's Watch. By the way,
That'd be
Oh,
cool.
yeah, that'd be
That'd be
nice.
fucking cool.
I could do
that's
that.
the thing. Like, as much as I thoroughly enjoyed Obi-Wan Kenobi,
yeah.
you got to call it something. We can't just be making shows with people's names. Like,
That's
Book
fair.
of Boba Fett, totally fine. The Mandalorian, totally fucking fine. But, like, Hawkeye, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Loki.
Like, yeah, like, fucking come on.
That's all SEO shit. I guarantee. Like
Of
at
course
least a
it
huge
is.
part of that.
Yep, of course it is.
Yeah,
These sick,
you gotta
twisted
think about the
fucks.
hashtags. What I was getting at though is like if this Black Knight thing happens,
Right.
and he's like Mr. Knight or whatever, and then he's just getting into a fucking Blade Runner car, it undercuts everything
No, yes.
about that.
You want to have something. I mean, you're right, and this should be. And I mean, I think we're doing this obviously because Thor: Love and Thunder comes out this week, and they seem like they might be leaning a lot more into fantasy on that one. I'll wait. I'm
We'll see.
We'll
I mean,
see.
I'm holding my breath to see.
I thought they were going to lean in like, oh, this one, Love and Thunder. It's got the cool logo. I thought we get like prog rock, maybe
Yeah.
really go for it.
That'd be nice.
Does not seem like that's going to be the case.
I
It's
mean,
just the bait and switch.
I have no idea what's going to happen. I mean, I know there's going to be a lot of soundtrack. That's for sure. It's a Taika Waititi movie.
yeah,
You're going to get a big
but would
soundtrack.
it hurt you to put a little yes in there?
Like, I like Ragnarok. I like what he did with Ragnarok. It's the best Thor movie for sure, but it's two movies wrapped together,
Yep.
and that neither of them actually get completed.
I haven't seen it since it came out, but I remember not liking it.
I know,
And
I
think I'm
don't-
an outliner. in
No,
that.
I don't like it that much. That's why
Yeah.
it's sort of like on the
It's literally two movies stitched together with like
Yeah.
a bullshit like here's why he has to leave the Jeff Goldblum planet and go back to Asgard because
Yeah.
Kate Blanchett's destroying it. okay, like fucking pick one, dude. Seriously,
and
just pick
And
one.
the Hulk is just all in there. And like, why haven't we gotten a Hulk movie with Mark
That's like
Ruffalo?
Universal.
Some weird
That's
rights
fight.
stuff.
rights
Yeah,
went nuts.
they're not allowed to do it.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they won't make. I don't know
Cool.
whatever devil deal they made with Sony that they won't make with Universal, or Universal won't make with them.
I don't know what it is, and it's not like they have any like Thor plans in the or
Once-
Hulk plans in the works.
Once the MCU comes to an end, which,
sure.
God willing, with our efforts here today.
Please, I hope.
That's it.
I'm kidding. It's okay to like a movie, and it's all fucking great, and I love all. I love
Newsflash:
all
four
pop
fat
culture.
guys didn't like a movie.
Oh yeah,
The
totally.
end of the
History
MCU.
made.
The end of the MCU. The Hulk just hitchhiking.
Yeah,
Here's your show.
That'd be
That'd be
cool,
nice.
dude.
I'd be into
But-
that.
So whatever. So like Thor is, I guess, after the events of the first movie, or the thing of the Waititi movie, why I liked it, is they figured out what to do with Hemsworth finally. Like the first movie, I think does a pretty good job with him, but it's kind of too broad of a character.
He doesn't have it yet, and he doesn't have the look. And I was thinking last night, if you took how he knew by the time making Dark World, if you took how he knew to play the character and the look of the character design itself, put it in Thor 2011, directed by Ken Branagh, that's an infinitely better movie. Because so much of why
Sure.
I don't want to say I like the first Thor movie. It is, I think, better than this one.
I agree.
And
It has to be.
there's a lot more, like, it feels a little more contained and yada yada, but like it just takes me. He looks so terrible.
Well, it's the eyebrows.
Yep,
It's
the fucking eyebrows. My God, the fucking blonde eyebrows. What were you thinking?
Right, exactly. Maybe you should cast a blonde actor to play Thor.
It looks like you put a roller of beige paint over his face.
He looks like literally unsettling.
Yeah.
Good looking dude,
Yeah.
unsettling
because
in
they
that film.
apparently couldn't find a single person to play that role besides him. Need I remind you? There's Northern Europe. No one talks about it much, but it does exist.
Did you say Australia?
True.
At least in this movie, this is his real hair that we're working with here.
Yeah.
And his eyebrows are his eyebrows. But I mean, I think that, like, again, with the Waititi movie, he's funny. He's able to be like more like witty and stuff, and like, and not even like some of it is, that same. Well, that happened, but it is a lot of his good physical comedy, et cetera, et cetera. Here, he's just kind of mopey this entire movie.
Yep.
The first movie, at least, he's like a lout, and he has to learn to not be a lout.
Totally.
It's like,
He's got the
that's like
cockiness, and that's what like fucks him over. But that's all like fun to watch.
here he's just moping the entire movie.
But yeah, and it's the same. It's like literally the same exact issue he had in the first movie. Like it's just like let's reheat the first one that nobody really liked. But like I do how. He never looks as hot in these three movies as he does in Black Hat. And that seems like they're leaving money on the table.
Yep.
I feel like if you had somehow harnessed that look into a Thor, you might have had a little bit more of a stronger pull.
Well, what is the difference here? Short haircut?
Oh, no, he got the shirt off.
Yeah. I
There's
mean,
one-
he's got cum gutters in all three movies we're speaking of.
Truly.
Early
amazing.
in the film, he's got his shirt off. He looks like, with the hair, he looks like a romance novel cover.
Yes,
for a second
which
there.
is good for this character, but he does give himself a little nipple bath at the start of this movie.
yeah.
See him wetting up his nips.
Because the first thing, it's a battle on, I think, a Vondenheim or whatever. the stuff.
Vandenheim or whatever, yeah. And that's,
Vanaheim, yeah.
honestly, I think it's cool.
It's next to Anaheim. It's just right. They go to Vanaheim.
That's exactly.
Still has the shitty.
Joe, come to Vanaheim, Anaheim's top van destination.
That's that Orange County Republican politics. They're just out there with fucking swords.
Well, like even the fucking planets sound like the names of prog rock albums.
Yeah.
Which fucking lean into it, man. 70s sci-fi. I mean, not just sci-fi, but 70s like fantasy is fucking cool
man.
and psychedelic. And if they would have done a Thor movie with insane visuals, him going on maybe, stranger in a strange place, like different continent. What am I doing? What I have to figure this out. I have to outwit this sorcerer or something. It's interesting. It's something instead of him worrying about fucking Kat Dennings like fucking van back on Earth.
Because it's a romantic comedy, Eric. Don't you understand?
I would love it to be a romantic comedy. Can we lean into
one.
anything?
But
Pick
that's the
one.
thing is I can't decide. It's like, let's start as a romantic comedy and then become an action movie and then a science fiction
But the
tale.
Vanaheim thing, it's cool because it's like, okay, during the MCU, there's other worlds, obviously, and some of them are just having medieval fights.
Yeah.
Sure.
And that's
Well-
kind of interesting and expansive of the universe.
It's what's it's how the movie should start is this scene, because what they're doing here is it's like the final battle to bring peace to all the 9 realms, which after the fucking Bifrost was destroyed at the end of that first Thor movie, and like the 9 realms erupted into chaos and yada yada, and now it's like this is the last battle. Here we are. After we win this, it's gonna bring peace again and blah blah blah. And it's fucking great because it starts off with like Sif and the 3 warriors, and they're doing their thing. It's a great name for a band, by the way.
Oh yeah.
And they're fighting all these folks and whatnot. And then it's like when it seems, oh shit, all is lost, in comes Thor. And like that's how you start these movies.
Yes.
And there's the big stone gorilla, and he beats him in one shot.
I read on the trivia that this is modeled after Thor apparently defeats a similar Gleep Glop character in his very first comic appearance.
Oh, that's cool.
really?
Yeah, pretty sweet. And I guess this rock monster thing, it's a rock monster, is the same race of Gleep Glops that Taika's character in Ragnarok is.
It did look familiar, yeah. And I think the character design is interesting, and I think it's a fun moment of. This is probably the best moment of the movie.
It's pretty rad. He uses his hammer to knock this dude into pebbles. It's
and
great.
I crack a grin, and that's the last one of the film.
Well, because he says, "Oh, I'm here to accept your surrender," and everybody laughs, and it's like, "No, I'm going to beat the shit out of this guy."
Yep.
And that's the problem. Like, they leave Krogan or whomever, and he's like, "I will stay here." I'm like, "Who are you?"
Oh, Hogan, dude.
Hogan. Okay, even better.
Yeah, the
Him
Asian
too.
dude,
They leave them both
Hogan.
there.
It's Bob Crane.
Oh shit.
Hogan. Oh, because people forget Colonel Klink is also in Asgard.
Oh, big time. But
Yeah.
I think the thing is, Hogan, it's his home world.
Sure.
So, and that's like, I think, because there's that quick scene where Thor is just like, "Ah, yes, mighty Hogan, we have done well today. You and your heroes can stay in your home." He says something about like, "This is your homeland.
Yeah.
Why don't you stay and hang out with all your people and sort of like rebuild your town here that we clearly destroyed during all this?" And it's a real like, it fucking sucks for this guy playing Hogan because, hey man, there's a million characters in this movie and we didn't have enough room for little old Hogan.
Well, he should just be like, yes, you know what? Okay, actually, everybody gather up. Okay, so Warriors 3 stay here. Kat Dennings. Why don't we get? Yeah, why don't you get Stellan Skarsgård as well?
You can
Stanley
all help.
let's get the Stanley cameo out of the way right now. Hi, stand by.
You could all put up the straw roofs on your homes and then park your starships outside of them. I just don't get it.
It's
It's a little much.
I like that Stan Lee's cameo. Like you don't even give him a close up.
Yeah.
He's kind of like in the background, like, "Hey,
Can I have my shoe back?"
Yeah,
that's
So they go back to, and like the weird thing is, they go back to Asgard to celebrate this big victory. Shouldn't they be fucking and fighting like Klingons? You know what I mean? It's a very subdued. It's like a wine dinner with friends in like NorCal.
I
And
think
it's
they
just-
accidentally smoked some opium, dude. They're
But
all
like-
really chill.
They were having more fun and drinking more ale at that diner on fucking Earth in that first movie.
That's
Let's
right.
have a little fun.
that's Loki's fucking Asgard
Yes.
you're talking about. That's another dream we're never gonna have. This is
just they should be chugging and butt chugging, and
Hell yeah.
they do allude to Zachary Levi's character having a threesome, which is something for a dude.
Oh, I missed
Okay.
that.
He's got the 2 ladies, and he's like, "Come on, let's see what's
Oh.
going
His
to
character fan duel. But honestly, he's a recast, and Zachary Levi, I'm not a huge fan in general.
You didn't get into Chuck.
No, I
Yeah.
didn't
Oh,
get into
man,
I got into
Chuck.
Up Chuck around the time that came out. I was drinking and partying and puking.
I mean, it's
Like a fucking Asgardian should.
Thank you.
we would like it.
around the world.
Yes.
We were.
Knock them out, please. But like, fuck it. It's you're replacing the first guy was a nobody. I get it, but like, it's a lateral move to leave.
Yeah,
like
it is.
it's not. You're not going
Yeah.
up or down. Really, it's just like
By the way,
eh.
that was I'm gonna chip off the budget right there for Zachary Levi.
Yeah.
Keep the fucking nothing guy. Why do we hate unknowns in this industry?
because they might want to fucking start a TV series with the fan duel.
Sure.
But this is 2013. This was before
Yeah,
we were
we're not
we
there
were taking
quite
the
yet.
bad ideas
Yes.
and just making them TV
Yeah, so
shows.
the Warriors 3 are Hogan, Fan Duel, and I guess what's the other guy? Stag Film is the third guy.
Stag Film is
Draft
definitely
Yeah,
Stag Film is what's his face Ray
Ray Stevenson.
Stevenson.
Ray Stevenson, yes.
Yeah.
Ray Stevenson.
Beautiful.
Also in the Marvel world as the Punisher.
And the
Here,
guy
he's
from
an-
Ichi the Killer is the other one. I forgot his
The
name.
guy from Ichi the Killer plays
Hogan?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
That's
I'm not sure if
he
it's
sure does
if
nothing.
it is Ichi the Killer, but he's in Ichi the
the
Killer.
Killer. Oh, I see what you're saying.
But like, it's just everyone's having a good time, and like Sif is like, "Hey, want to fuck?" And he's like, I can't. Oh no, I can't do it." Which is you're setting up this love triangle that goes nowhere.
Nowhere
Like,
at all.
She's got like 9 lines in the film. Like, and again, just either leave her out or really do it.
And I mean, here's the thing. In the comics, or maybe not, maybe they don't do it in the comics, but in like mythology lore or whatever, maybe it is the
Yeah.
comics. Thor and Sif are married.
Yes, I think it's a mythology at least for sure.
So like work that into if you want like the rom-com part of it, actually build up the love triangle shit. Because like Thor does not even give this woman the time of day.
She's an
And
afterthought in
come
this
on.
entire film.
Yeah, they should have a more of a Betty Don Draper situation going on here. They should already be married,
Yeah,
and
or
he's
more like-
kind of
And Natalie-
stepping out with
Yeah,
Jane.
yeah. Jane's like the substitute teacher. He's just forcing
So
himself.
instead
on.
of the Metro North of this thing, he's on the Bifrost essentially.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess in the same Heimdall, Idris Elba is a glorified Metro North conductor.
Oh, big time.
Very much.
Please. I told you this is the quiet car. Shut the fuck up.
By the way, just looked it up, Chris Cabin. The guy who plays Hogan, Tadanobu Asano, plays Kakihara in Ichi the Killer. He's the dude who's out looking for Ichi.
Yes.
Good pull, man.
Yeah,
So
wow.
they fixed the Bifrost in this movie, which means they got infrastructure passed in like 2 years. That's
Wow.
not bad.
Not too shabby.
We can't because
Oh,
we can't get past the infrastructure because Manstag it will not allow it.
Yeah.
Him and those people Manstag.
Yeah, that's right. But every month I'll do a blank trek to Ukraine. Yeah. How are we going to pay for that? No one's going to ask about that.
We have to go out and we have to stop Cinemascont. We got to destroy her. She's going to take us all down with her.
My God, that Cinema Scott looks a lot like those dark elves. Just full of pure evil and stupid glasses.
But with polka dot dresses for some reason.
Now your horse can ride the Bifrost.
Man, it kind of, under Trump, it felt like we were held hostage by a maniac, but it's almost worse being held hostage by like a senile old man.
A person who keeps on falling asleep.
Like either slit my throat or move on.
But and like Anthony Hopkins, like you got to move on at some point. This should be the focus of the film because like it's immortal. She's not gonna last forever. You know what I mean? Like
It's a
100
Highlander situation here,
Exactly.
Because that Thor cock we learn in this film, I don't know if we learned it earlier, lasts 5,000 years.
nice, dude.
5,000 years of cockening. And then she's going to die in like 100.
Yeah.
I mean, also, and as the trailers for the new movie told us, he has a phenomenal cock.
Yeah.
It's just, they just fucking ruined it for
Is
you.
that
Oh, what
right?
is someone looking? He's naked at some point.
Zeus, Russell Crowe Zeus, which is the only reason I'm watching the movie,
Uh-huh.
throws a bolt and it takes all his clothes off, and the entire stadium is like, oh!
Well, I mean, that's what I mean, and I think Natalie Portman's a fantastic actress, but her character is just like drooling over this dude's thick dick the whole movie,
Yeah.
and she can never like. She's either like, "Oh my God, you're so handsome," or "Here's some science bullshit nonsense," and she's got nothing.
She's got no character.
She's got no in between.
The suggestion at the beginning of it, when before it like actually kicks off, is that she literally misses it so much she kind of tries to kill herself.
Yeah.
She throws herself down the fucking center of a goddamn what's it called, the staircase to go through the portal.
Oh yeah. Well,
Like she throws
Oh,
herself off it, like, and then she
right.
goes into a dark place and gets infused with blood. Isn't that what happened?
I don't think that happened.
Well, she
Doesn't she go through the
No,
portal?
she
No, there's
fingers
another-
a critter hole. There's like a hole full.
Yes.
It's like Indiana Jones in the Temple of Doom, and
Yeah.
she's like, "Oh, there's bugs in this one."
And
There's
That's what I
another-
remember.
That's another portal.
It's in the same area. There's some fucking like London parking lot
Yes.
or storage area
Yeah.
where they find this thing. They find these kids, and the kids are dropping shit. Yes, you are
And they're
remembering
going
that
up
part right.
the stair thing.
But
She's-
she's trying to
she-
kill herself.
She doesn't go through it at that point. There's another point
Okay.
later in the fucking scene.
I wanted to
She's
kill
like
myself.
walking through the parking
Yeah.
lot, and she's like, "What's that noise?" And she gets sucked through
Yeah.
the portal. Because part of this
Wow.
movie is like all of the realms are lining up together and it's turning the universes into Swiss cheese where like these portals are opening
Yes,
up and you can
this-
just fly through.
This is the
into other
first
dimensions.
taste of the multiverse type of shit.
Yes. What also cool concept, but you got to define them realms. You got to have like this realm looks like this, that realm
Sure.
looks like
Thank
that.
you.
This
Yes.
realm people walk upside down. That realm everyone's an ape.
Maybe
that realm's something else.
This
you know what I mean?
realm
Like,
we can film outside with real air and light.
no.
I'll tell you what, that's another thing in favor of Thor 2011. We are outside quite a bit in that movie.
Yes,
Yeah,
we're
yeah.
in like really in Arizona and Santa Fe or wherever.
But then they realized you'd have to hire a few extra people versus a computer, which is no fucking union. So let's rip it.
The other thing is, so like, yeah, while it's not a suicide attempt, but you're right in that her motivation as we meet her in this movie is just, at first you're like, oh, okay, she's doing more research and blah, blah, blah. But the research is all
Thor based.
trying to figure out how to get back to Thor.
Yes.
Because she can't figure out why he didn't return, and because she doesn't know about the Bifrost and yada yada. But like, it's all about, oh, I just wish I could get back to Thor, not anything to do with like furthering my scientific research.
And she just doesn't have a character. And like, she's
Not
a
at
great
all.
actress. She's an Academy Award-winning actress, and she's just meat in this
Obsessed
movie.
with Thor. That's
Yes.
her
Yeah,
characteristic.
she's-
She's
she's-
obsessed with fucking
She
Thor.
like blushes and like
Yes.
faints every time this guy looks at her. And it's like, I know he's hot, the movie. I've gotten it. Let's like move on from that.
She is absolutely defined as meat. I
Yes.
agree. I co-sign.
Anybody else remember when Moby pretended that he dated her?
Oh god.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't
Good
think
for
we-
him taking the swing.
I don't think we talk about that. If that happened to me, you would never see. Like if I was, because he said he pretended he dated her. She's like, no, he didn't, and then he had to apologize. If I apologized after that, you would never see me again. I'd be like, there'd be like blurry pictures of me pumping gas in Nevada. Like
Yep.
that would be what
Sadek sightings.
Exactly. That's what Moby should be
He
doing.
starts growing hair all of a sudden.
You'll never see him again. Like,
But the
that's-
funny thing is,
he's gone.
that is not the most embarrassing thing associated with dudes being in love with
Yeah.
this woman.
I mean, Portman really
Yeah.
does it to them. I
But-
don't know
but
what it
just
is.
what was it?
Moby-
Jonathan
Saffron
Safran
Foer
Foer
left his wife.
Yeah, just left his wife and was like, "We're getting married. We're in love." And this woman
Wow,
had
that
to be like,
sounds extremely loud and incredibly stupid.
and this woman had to be like, "What the fuck are you talking about,
That's
man?"
insane.
It's just she's the holy grail to people, dude, and you just gotta fucking chill out.
But I'm glad Moby got, taken down a few notches because that guy's ego. I once saw David Bowie in concert opening for Moby.
no way.
Yeah.
That is the state of our culture, folks.
Bowie. had
Hello,
to open-
everyone. I want to be clear that Natalie Portman and Moby are not dating. And now here's my song from Lost Highway.
Man, that song slaps, by the way. The
Lost
I'm
Highway.
Deranged.
Oh,
yeah.
Killer.
Oh, that whole soundtrack.
Bum,
Yes, Rammstein included.
Oh, yeah.
They just released it on vinyl, dude. You can pick it up.
I actually bought the earlier version
Oh,
on
okay.
vinyl, which is kind of the regular degular. It's not the tie-dye.
Yeah.
That's
I
a
also
little-
have to, I guess I have to do this before every concert. Moby is also not dating the Olsen twins. Here's a list of the ladies that Moby is not dating, that he says he is.
Normally, my concerts come with all sorts of cool video, audio things going all around. I'm going to be singing all my hits while looking at a list of scrolling names of men who are not dating Moby.
You know what? Let's go strike through a couple bands. Farouk Assault, none of them. He didn't date any of them.
Perhaps-
Sleater Kinney, none of them.
Perhaps it's just easier to tell you who he is dating. Okay, no one.
He's a
teacher.
lonely old DJ.
He's
Uh,
just a little guy that people don't like.
oh, and what's that? A thunderstorm interrupting my set? Okay, then, cheerio. I guess I'm gone for the night. You'll miss 20 minutes of that you'll never get back in your life, Eric Siska.
no.
Here's Moby once the storm clears.
God.
no!
Yeah, because it was outside.
I would come back, but I know you're here for Moby.
That was the vibe,
That
and it
sucks
was
shit,
dire, dude. And that's the
You should have
aughts.
just left, dude.
That's the aughts. For
Did you sit through the Moby performance?
Yes, I did.
Eric Siska, maybe you could date Moby. He's certainly single.
He's been stringing along a bookstore manager for about 15 years. Her name is Susan, and she's actually quite sweet.
But it keeps going on and on about Natalie Portman. I'm sorry, Moby, but you're the Phantom Menace in this scenario.
Moby, you should be pumping gas in Las Vegas.
Here's Queen Bitch for Susan.
You'll never understand. You'll never guess what happens on a We Ain't Movies episode. David Bowie on Thor 2.
There you go.
I think that's worth 5 stars wherever you can review the show.
But yeah, so she's like trying to date Chris O'Dowd.
Oh my God, this is humiliating. Chris O'Dowd needs to be like, hey, you know what? Clearly you're not ready for whatever this is. I'm just going to go.
He does that sort of, but then Kat Dennings shows up. And I mean, like, the movie doesn't need Kat Dennings. I have no real strong opinions on her one way or another. I don't like her in these movies. That's kind of all I've ever really seen.
She's inserted for comic relief, and she's never once in my life or hers made me laugh.
Yeah,
she's got one okay line in this when she says, "How's space?"
Yeah,
But I don't have any axe to grind against her. I just don't think she particularly works in this.
She doesn't
movie.
fit in the movie. Like the movie doesn't have room for her, so the movie shouldn't offer her room.
Also,
you know what I mean?
I mean, fucking Two Broke Girls ran for what, 27 seasons?
just
I don't
fine.
even
Felt like
fucking
it.
know.
Felt
but
like it.
she's just doing fine.
Do not worry about
Moby.
Yes, okay, good.
He's doing fine.
Kat Dennings also isn't dating Moby. Just a little Moby fact from your old pal David Bowie.
Yeah, she's dating Andrew WK, which would have been good on that lineup that day.
Yes.
Yeah.
Engaged, yeah.
But she's like,
Andrew WK and Kat Dennings.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
Apparently they're partying hard.
Yeah, get ready to party hard.
He gets wet.
He does get wet.
He
finally.
does, yeah. Since she doesn't, but he does.
yeah, so she drags her out, and like we said, they go to this fucking car park, and
Because some fucking bleep bloop device has gone off, and she's just like, oh, look at this. The readings are going crazy.
Oh, what's
we haven't
this?
seen readings like this since our boss went banana ball.
But could you imagine like Thor has to cross some infinite psychedelic desert? No, let's have a parking lot in London. That's the center of most of the movie.
Yep.
Eric, you are dreaming of the Jodorowsky Thor 2 that we will never get.
I know.
But we are, I mean, it's
Oh,
always in
shit.
my
But
heart.
that doesn't mean we shouldn't try. and
Can't
we
wait
shouldn't
for
hold
that
it to standards.
documentary, Jodorowsky's Thor, dude. See all those cool drawings for Asgard.
Yes, actually, we had George Harrison was going to be Malekith until he died about 10 years before this was even conceived.
Playing a dark elf or something.
Steve had the point earlier that like Asgard is one castle.
Yeah.
I would love to see more.
Like, go
Is
in,
it
what are the
Castle-
side streets? Yeah, like,
Is it Castle Planet?
Yeah.
Are we talking Castle Planet?
yeah.
Because that's what's kind of rad. I mean, you get a similar moment like what we're talking about here in Black Panther.
yeah.
Where she takes him around like downtown Wakanda and they're
Exactly.
kind of
Way
like
more
walking
defined.
around.
Way
yeah.
more
Yeah,
defined.
and he's like, oh, cool. Like, this is how people live in Wakanda. And you get to like see that going on.
Yeah.
We are never anywhere really in Asgard
Yeah.
except for the Bifrost and the fucking towers above the city.
And it's been so long since I've seen Black Panther, but like the one when that one guy's dying and he's seeing like the moons and shit and all the colors and
Oh,
shit.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's fucking
There's
striking. It's
there's trippy shit.
beautiful. Yeah.
yeah, the visuals of their like afterlife,
Which you could have
realization is really cool.
absolutely have done in this franchise, this mini franchise within a franchise that is Thor.
Yeah,
That's a great way to describe these things,
Yeah.
Right? Like
Mini franchises inside the larger like MCU.
because there's
franchise.
4 Thors and then there's other movies.
There's 4 Thors, 3 Captain Americas, 3 Iron Mans.
It's a studio that's only franchises. what if instead of doing movies, we did franchises?
But that's the ingenious way of this design because it's like you can't criticize Last Boy Scout if you liked Air Force One because they're all in the same world.
Oh man, if I got a Last Boy Scout 2 by Tony Scott, I'd be much happier, man. Air Force One is not that. I wish.
No, but I'm just saying, like,
Yes.
if they somehow tethered together every 90s
Yes.
action movie, that's sort of what this is.
If
Yeah.
Harrison Ford was the president in the Last Boy
shit.
Scout
Oh,
universe,
yeah.
Harrison
Yep.
Ford is the president in executive decision.
Yes, yeah.
And that's the football that Damon Wayans tosses at the end is saving President Harrison Ford's life.
That's right.
So that's exciting.
Thank you so much, Damon Wayans.
And now I gotta go catch a plane called Air Force One in theaters this summer.
Sure hope there's no secret terrorists on it. Bye-bye, movie.
And instead of Infinity Stones, people just collected C4, I guess. I don't know.
Yes, that would be a beautiful thing. A stinger scene of every movie where some guy's picking up C4. Got it.
I got the gray C4.
Yeah,
I
and
also
then-
got the gray C4 in the last movie, too.
And then 5 movies in, they combine all the C4 and it goes exploding.
That's cool.
That'd be pretty
It's
great.
not any different.
No.
Just really quickly, I don't know. I feel like I have to address the issue here as President Harrison Ford. I am not dating Natalie Portman. I'll put that out there. I don't care what Moby tells you.
We never went on a double date with her.
So, yeah, she does get, sucked into the other realm. Like, there's some funny stuff about, like, things are disappearing in this, like, time loop kind of a thing. And, like, sometimes things come back, sometimes they don't.
Yeah, it's a pretty neat thing that apparently was ripped right from the Animatrix.
That's fun.
There's a segment where
nice.
it's literally like kids doing exactly that to some sort
Oh,
of
wait,
wormhole. And
Yep,
then
yep, yep.
like they literally meet like the oldest of the kids who tells them what went down, just like what happens here.
It's kind of
Like,
wild.
the oldest kid in the group is like,
Hey, Natalie Portman. Well, 1, are you dating Moby? But 2, we found a hole in space.
No, I am not. I don't know how that. I know how that started.
Hey, Neo, Natalie Portman. You should be doing that. You shouldn't be doing that.
Natalie Portman is kind of great.
Moby's kind of a guy that models himself after the Matrix a little bit.
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
gonna
for
shave
sure.
my head and I can't eat animals because they're putting black goop in it. Or
He does
whatever.
look like a dude that sleeps in a tub of jelly.
Yeah, I bet he does.
Keeps him nice and smooth.
Just want to be clear, he sleeps in the tub of jelly alone. Moby dating update from David Bowie.
You can't fit 2 people inside a jelly bed.
without getting jelly belly.
Welcome back to David Bowie's Jelly Bed. I do not know what that show would be about, actually.
I would like-
I don't
You
know
know
if it's
what?
scripted television. I don't know if it's reality. I don't. Docutainment.
David Bowie's jelly bed. Now that I've had sex with Mick Jagger, who is next? Stay tuned.
Welcome back to Portmanteau,
Oh, totally.
Yes.
Totally.
where
It's a
we
show-
are dedicated to all fetishes around Natalie Portman.
Portmanteau. Ouch.
It's so awesome. It's so awesome.
But she goes into a vague space and vaguely gets infected with the Aether, which also, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if you know this, it's the red Infinity Stone in jelly form.
Oh. By the way, if you had chickenpox, the Aether virus is already inside of you.
So yeah, the Crimson Piss Stone is the Reality Stone.
Is so the red one with the red does Thanos put that in the freezer at some point? Is that how that works?
I think
sounds
so,
right.
yeah.
Oh, son of a bitch. This one turned into a jello shot. God damn it.
Ellen, why didn't we get the rubber ones that you just push them out?
I don't
Why-
know, Thanos. I'm sorry.
Why can't we? I fucking hate cracking these things. Fucking God damn it.
It's summer. Just put it in the fridge, honey.
Fine. God damn it. Takes fucking forever to get anything
I'll
done.
put it next to your Snickers bars in the freezer.
God, I hope nobody chops my head off.
I am trying to destroy half the universe. I cannot have a leaky Infinity Stone. I swear to God.
Oh, what? It came right through the bag. It's all over the carpet on the floor of the car.
Oh my God, it's
fucking
finite.
great.
It's finite on the carpet.
What? I've got to explain this to you. Okay. You cannot leave it out after you take it out. It starts to melt. You have to put it in the glove. What the fuck is wrong with you?
Shocking that I think the sting there's no stinger about the Infinity Stone in this, is there?
Oh, no, there is.
Yeah, there is.
Oh, okay.
Oh, man. All the shit with fucking Benicio.
He's like,
Oh, the collector. Yeah.
Because they're like,
Right,
oh, we
right,
can't
right.
have. Basically, at the end, that they give it off.
I thought
to-
I was waiting for the scooter guy to show up.
Oh, no,
So the
Scooter
big
guy doesn't
purple
show up.
people eater guy.
He just says like, oh, here's Collector, you hold on to the Infinity Stone, the red one, because we've got the blue one on Asgard. We shouldn't have two
Seems
together.
Pretty fucking stupid.
It does. Like,
Let me just sell it to some guy off the highway.
So, I mean, of all the people you're going to give this thing to,
Right.
take a look at Benicio del Toro in these movies, man. I wouldn't trust that guy with an Infinity Stone.
Let alone
way.
two. And he says 1 down, 5 to go, which kind of doesn't make any sense, but sure.
I think it's one of those things where it was like, oh, maybe the Collector's going to be the one to do.
Nah.
No, we're going to do Thanos instead. All right, well sorry,
'cause
Benicio.
that'd be something if he had the glove and he was
Yeah.
like reconstructing it to get the value higher.
yeah.
But no.
He's turned out to be like a good guy, I believe. It's been a while for Guardians.
Yeah, they rough. I
tell
think
ya.
they rough him up. I think he might die.
Yes, yeah. And he's definitely an Endgame for like 2 seconds.
Yeah.
And I think he dies there.
He's related to Goldblum's character.
I think they're brothers. Is
Okay.
the idea.
Yeah, aren't we all related in the MCU?
But so
folks?
now she's got this stuff, and Heimdall. It's like this weird thing. Like after the party, Thor goes up to Heimdall, who can see
His
everything.
name's Hemsworth, actually.
No. Heimdall is the
Hemdall.
I think it's
Heimdall.
Heimdall.
Oh,
That'll stop the confusion.
Heimdall.
Heim. H-E-I-M.
Yeah, okay.
Also sounds like a record that Camel or Caravan put out.
Yep.
Yes. Oh, which I would love to pump right now.
Who can always see what's going on. And I think that the idea is Thor comes down every now and again. Hey, yo, is she showering or what?
That's definitely what's going on. Well, maybe not that, but it's like, oh, is she fucking seeing somebody? Oh,
Yes.
she's on a date, isn't she? Oh, wait. Oh, it's Chris O'Dowd? Never mind.
All I can tell you with my all-seeing eye is that she is certainly not dating Moby. End of update.
But he keeps on saying it. I mean, literally to anyone who will listen.
Oh, yeah, he's a bit of a peeper, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's
Oh,
just
he can see
watching
everywhere,
it.
yeah.
That's disgusting.
Even the all-seeing eye of Heimdall says you can't date Moby.
But when she goes behind the thing, he's like, I can't see her. That draws Thor to Earth, and they meet up
Thor,
again.
before you go to Earth, Moby's a virgin.
I gotta say the thing about Heimdall, that guy, unreliable staff worker on Asgard.
Absolutely, he's always
Yeah.
betraying everybody every other movie.
Odin's whole thing is like, you know what, Thor? Closed for business, dude. You are not to go back to Earth. Fuck this.
Yeah.
And he's like, got it. Hey, Heimdall, my girlfriend might be in some trouble, man. Heard she might be dating Moby. Let me get down to Earth to suss out what's going on.
Moby. Go right ahead.
And but he goes down there. She like slaps him, but then she's like, "Wow, you're so hot! Oh my gosh,
Whoa.
I'm only 40 years old, and I'm like, again, she acts like a little kid around him, and it's
Ugh.
very silly.
Because I
for her.
think that's the relationship, right? Because at this point, he's like a mega pedophile.
that's true. I
A little
mean,
bit.
he's 1,000, she's 36.
You were born but a blink of an eye ago, and that turns me on. Me and my Aussie hog, Asgardian hog.
All right.
That's what he wants
Once
to
you
get
know
back
they
to.
get older and he stays the same age. It's,
That's
the,
right.
it's the other way around, you see.
Those earth birds.
Oh shit! I had a fucking reverse Wooderson. I did a couple of those one time off a diving board.
But so like,
It
And
turns out with that whole thing also was like what was 2 seconds for Jane was actually 5 hours.
Sure.
So Darcy has like called the cops and whatnot because when Jane gets back to the parking lot that 40% of this movie takes place in, she's like, "You called the fucking cops? You called the fucking cops?" And she's like, "You were gone for 5 hours, lady."
I mean, I'd still be a little pissed. You called the fucking cops, man. Get the fuck out of the place.
Yeah.
I know we're going portal crazy here, but
Well, I guess because it's the British cops, they can't instantly shoot you when they show
that's a
up.
fair point.
good
Yeah, it's the
point.
bobbies.
It is
Yeah.
wild though, like because the cops are all like, "Hold it right there, Thor," and I'd be like, "Hey, man, don't you know that this is Thor? What are you gonna do, Bobby?"
Yeah, I mean, because wait, what happened?
They've
yet?
watched the TV. They've
Did-
seen Avengers.
Yeah.
They've
Did
all seen the
Avengers
Avengers
happen?
at this
Avengers
point.
happen?
Avengers has happened,
Yes.
Okay, well, I guess they don't know which side he was on. I mean, he's
Yes.
also a space alien.
We were actually pro the hole. We were into the hole in the sky. We
Yeah,
liked
there's
that.
some UK vote like Brexit that's just pro hole.
Holes it.
Yeah.
We actually like Loki. We think he's pretty cool.
listen, we were going to get a discount on the Chitauri. They were going to kill the Irish for us, but never got there.
You know, the Chitauri are coming here to the UK, stealing all the jobs from farmers, by the way.
Loki was going to get us free Tesco sandwiches every month. What are you going to do?
But, you know, they're like, hey, stop right there. And I think a cop gets close to her.
Yes.
And a vague red mist blows everybody up, but not
Ooh.
really.
And here's the thing. If you like figured this out a little better, so it was like, oh, it's kind of like a, geez, dare I say it, like a Venom situation.
Sure,
Where
sure.
there's like a sentient thing inside her that knows to, because what it's doing, it's like the ether is defending itself,
Yes.
defending its
Yeah.
host, and like doing this big, she turns into like a big red fireball kind of thing.
Yeah.
The dudes go flying or whatever. And Thor's like, oh man, I am not going to be able to have sex with this. Better take you up to Asgard to figure out what's wrong with your noggin.
Now we know you think this is Scarlet Witch. It looks exactly like Scarlet Witch. But don't worry, wait 2 more movies. We got you. We got you. Don't worry about it.
I forgot about the red flakes in that movie, man.
Every fucking where.
this wakes up Malkeith from like using suspended animation. This sleep helmet he's got going, I'd like this sleep setup. I'm getting closer and closer. I got a sleep mask. I got headphones. Give me the fucking
Really?
metal.
You're doing the full mask now,
Oh, I'm doing
huh?
sleep
Dude,
mask.
I do the mask.
Oh,
Dude,
yeah.
You start with that, then it's this, then it's the other
Yeah,
thing.
you guys are cautionary tales.
oh yeah, dude, it could get much worse.
I don't want the mask. I want the apparatus that like just suspends you
Oh,
and puts
yes.
you out for good.
Well, like the bed from Crimes of the Future.
Well, yeah. Hey, yeah. Ooh, that seems nice. I
I'm
got
holding
I
out-
got to get it calibrated though.
Oh, yep.
It's really cool though. So Malkeith, the big villain who wakes up, and he
It'd be
goes
cool if
to,
he was somebody.
and he looks at the cursed, right? He goes,
Jabudu Hatza.
And then everyone in the theater went, yeah, what?
Oh, good.
Yeah.
I think-
new language for me to learn. Oh,
But-
Elven 7.
I mean, I forget if they were dark elves or not, but like fucking Hellboy 2.
Yeah, dude. These
Better
guys
use.
yes, these guys came out of fucking Guillermo del Toro's garage sale. That's what they got.
Exactly.
Totally.
Exactly.
Totally.
And it's just like, give me something. He does that, whatever that language is.
Uh-huh.
Then he drives his fucking, black Buick into a fucking house. And that's the fucking movie.
Yeah.
That's it.
That is both.
That's the movie.
That
Now,
is the movie.
Here's a wild thing to toss out. Because this is tied with another one of these things as the short. I think it's actually the Louis Leterrier Incredible Hulk.
Oh.
As like the shortest
Yeah.
of these movies at 1 hour and 55 minutes.
Hmm.
Now, the traditional kvetching on this show over the years, of course, and rightfully, is expanded runtimes.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I'm not saying you need some sort of end game-esque runtime, Hero of God and Eternals runtime, but
No.
if this were a little longer, would it help, or is it
It's
too
just-
far gone?
It's
Too far gone.
It's too far gone. It's because you spend your time on the wrong things.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like
But
you
if
needed to
they
pick a
had-
direction and make it. You could make a fine 2-hour Thor: The Dark World. You just did not do that.
That is very true. But if they had 15 more minutes,
Sure.
would it have hurt?
No, I agree. Yeah.
So it's hard to tell. I don't want movies to be longer necessarily unless they're good movies.
Sure.
Right.
We get into that with like, oh, it should be as long as Star Wars, which is true for a blockbuster, I feel, but like I'm not denouncing something like The Irishman, for instance. Or,
Sure.
I want longer movies.
Yeah.
I'm not against long. RRR, amazing.
Yep.
Yeah. Certain directors can handle the heft and know that they can pace 3 hours out. That's not a problem. If you can't pace 1 hour and 55 minutes, which they can't in this case,
No.
Yeah.
then like why would I give you any more time? Yeah, like
Yeah.
even if the story doesn't make sense to me, like it's not even that. It's the movie itself is boring, man.
It's like loaning somebody more money with somebody who's bad with money. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you're gonna waste it.
Yeah. And the
Yeah.
funny thing too, I wonder if there's people thinking like, well, you guys watch like foreign films all the time with subtitles. Like, what is the difference? The difference is when you're watching a foreign film, traditionally the person speaking the language, they know how to speak the language and it's a real language and they've grown up with it or whatever. This is a fake language that
Yes.
actors have learned to just enunciate whatever these fake words are. And in that, I feel like as an actor, you're already doing so many mental gymnastics just to make that sound fucking real. but then having to like emote and get it, because what he's saying in this scene is like, hey, great, I'm awake, I want revenge, I'm gonna go after Asgard and get my revenge. And that should be this big, it's the call to action for the villain, this and the other thing. And like Eccleston just can't get there. No one could get there.
Well, no one can.
Imagine Ricardo Montalban in Wrath of Khan, instead of being like revenge is a dish best served cold, he had to be like abagoo da da dee ta 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 ta.
Yeah.
He'd be like, who gives a fuck?
Yes,
Yep,
and then he
exactly.
sends his minions in.
Well, because seriously though, I thought
these
when he did that voice, too.
these yellow butter plugs are going to get you.
Oh, Captain Kirk, you will wake up with a butt plug in the exhaust pipe of the Enterprise. Then you will see James Kirk.
Oh, don't you see, Spock? Some of them are wearing Oshkosh bagosh.
I-
Aren't they adorable?
I am Khan, son of Gru.
And the thing is, God,
Yes.
that's gross.
Gave rise during the eugenics wars of the 90s.
I think the thing with that though is like with Star Trek, you know, I never have beef with the Klingons, and sometimes you'll get a little Vulcan with subtitles. Like motion picture starts out with some subtitled Vulcan, but like it's brief, man.
Exactly.
It doesn't make the
Also,
character.
It's 70% of Eccleston's performance is in a fucking bullshit language. That's
yeah,
the problem.
no, for sure. But getting the Klingon part, like in those TOS movies, a lot of the Klingons are just direct allegories for like the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
So you're, as an audience in America, at least, you're bringing your own preconceptions that help fill out that
Yeah.
world and that weird language. And this, it's like no one has a tether to these dark elves as much as I want to, as much as a person that's read fantasy for a long time.
Absolutely. Well, that you can do like I don't like the elven part of it doesn't even really fucking matter to me. It's like Chris Eccleston, if you want him to be the villain, you can let him be the villain. Talk the way he wants to talk. Let him have those. But the decision clearly was made. We don't want this villain to be interesting, really.
Yeah.
Like that it's we want Thor to be interesting and Loki to be interesting.
See, that's the
We're not
thing.
really going to make
I
fucking
think
Malekith
Steve mentioned it
interesting.
earlier. Knock Loki out of this and spend a minute developing your fucking antagonist.
Exactly.
Right. Well, I mean, the thing is, like with what you just said, Chris, like, I don't know. It's possible to find both John McClane and Hans Gruber incredibly captivating characters.
Exactly.
And like, you know, you don't know a ton about Hans Gruber in that movie, but you know enough that it feels like a character. You live with the character enough, and he's speaking a language you fucking understand,
Yes.
a real language. You know what I mean? Like, there's ways to do it. So it's odd. You know, you're sort of making it sound, Chris, and I don't know, but like that decision to be like, we're going to have a wholly uninteresting villain, so we can like fill in all this like Thor fireworks.
Because I don't
that's
think they
true.
really care about
No,
it.
yeah,
I
yeah.
really don't. I think it's a reason to get to a plot point that they need to get to.
Yeah.
At the end, in the big credits call, Christopher Eccleston just beats out Kat Dennings in the rankings, and he shouldn't. Honestly, he shouldn't. In terms of screen time, Kat Dennings should be above him.
I know he was. I don't know who was originally supposed to play, but he was a last minute replacement.
Okay, that makes
Somebody else
Really?
was supposed to play him. And from what I read, it was Eccleston was like, I don't know, I'm bored.
I'm guessing-
Marvel asked me to be in a movie.
right,
A full CGI character, like a Jar Jar Binks type of.
No, thank you.
You know what? I'll say this. I just rewatched it recently. Ultron is a much more interesting villain.
Here's
than
the thing:
he
is
Good
like
Spader. It's-
Yes, yeah, and then I haven't seen it since the theater, but I
Because they
remember
let-
that being I know people hate it, but I remember that being one of the better.
I enjoy it. I
That's-
enjoy that
yeah.
movie.
I got to
But-
rewatch it.
Hot take team.
But the
here.
whole thing, what you're right, is Spader, because they let Spader do the Spader thing.
Exactly.
You're not letting Chris Eccleston do the Chris Eccleston thing.
Can you imagine if James Spader's voicing that robot in that movie, and he's got like 4 lines that you can understand?
Yeah.
That's what's. I mean, I've only seen Ultron one time,
Yeah.
and it was a bad theater.
and that guy
experience.
fell asleep in it.
The security guard, for the early screening. It was like a Thursday night screen. The security guard fucking fell asleep.
Sure.
If it's Chris Eccleston doing what he does best, is it going to be like, so Thor, Jane, and Malekith get an apartment together,
Yep.
and then they're fast friends, but they're kind of shitty to each other.
Yeah.
And then Malekith withdraws from the group and slowly starts moving into the attic and drilling holes in there.
Yeah.
Yep. And they get into a lot of trouble at the end of that.
He gets up in Odin's special room up there where he.
Well, I mean, right
Shallow
there.
Grave, Danny Boyle, great movie.
Back when that guy
But
was
even
making good
if
movies.
Malketh or whatever his name is tried to
Malachi Throne.
pretend to be good, at least that's something.
That's
That-
also something. So Jane goes to fucking Asgard. Alice Krige, hello, hi.
Is this Alice scenes deleted Krige
It
right
has
here?
to
I
be.
can't imagine you hire this actress, a known commodity, like a known face or whatever, not a commodity, a
Yeah.
known face, known talent, and she plays this fucking nameless nurse that, yeah, like Steve said earlier, makes a couple of snotty comments to Natalie Portman, and that's the movie.
Well, Frigga, we had to make peace with the Borg Queen. We had to do it. We didn't want, Borg Thor to happen
Oh, shit.
That's
this way.
better movie, man.
That'd be something. That'd be something.
You're both right.
Oh yes, thank you. Because he does it like in the first movie, Anthony Hopkins is snarling and snapping all over it.
Yeah.
There's only one here when he
is
sees
beautiful.
Loki when he goes, "You're both right. It's to die," which is like so Anthony Hopkins. Like,
But
ooh, and then he,
that's what you want out of him.
Yeah.
man.
exactly, yeah.
Let Hopkins do the Hopkins thing. Like, all you had to do was not make the stupid language and let Eccleston talk.
Like even like Hopkins, who I like enough in both those movies. I'd prefer someone else. I'd prefer like a fucking
Cox?
No, Seven
Russell Crowe?
Seal.
Oh, Max von Sydow.
Yes.
Oh, sure.
Right?
I could see that
You
happening.
know?
Now we're closer to Norway. That's
which is by the way,
inching closer to Norway here.
unforgivable to get that close.
Exactly.
Look out.
I mean, he would actually. I mean, Bale looks pretty good, but he would have made a good Gore the God Killer.
Yeah. I mean, he's
Von
also
Sydow.
Yeah, Von Sydow. He's got the build for it.
Yeah,
I'm
going to play God the God Killer, something called Thor something.
Oh, they're going to turn me black and white like I love.
So whatever. Alice Krige is like, hey, this thing's part of her. Odin calls Natalie Portman a goat. She's not too thrilled about that.
It's one of those weird, like, oh no, this lady's mouthing off to Odin because she doesn't know who he is,
Yeah.
or like whatever. And I'm like, I don't want any of that.
It's just she's not. This movie's not for her, man. I really like her as an actress. I really do. This movie's not for her.
Nope. Which, the funny thing is, man, like as I'm like the eve of this new movie coming out where she like
Comes
gets
back.
Thor powers. I mean, like.
Maybe-
I hope she was game for this because it sort of looks like there's going to be even more screen time.
I mean, again, I think that maybe it's just the script and it's the directing and everything else. She's just an actress that, just needs to care. And maybe because also like this movie, it's like you like Thor. That's the motivation. And this one's like, hey, you have the Thor hammer. You could do shit.
Sure,
So
that's true. So
that's
hopefully she
gonna
gets
be-
to like sing a little more.
Also, you're going to be in a Taika Waititi movie and not an Alan Taylor movie.
There's that.
There is that little tiny
Sure,
thing.
but I still have zero hope.
I mean, like in general, like I'm waiting to be surprised by Marvel movies going forward. Most of them, I'm going to assume, are not good. But hey, because I haven't
Sure,
liked
sure.
one in so long.
And it's okay to like it, folks. It's okay to fully subscribe to the monoculture and say, just eat any slop they give you.
Some slop's good.
Some slop
slop
is
is
good.
good.
Some is named Ambulance, and
Some-
it's not bad. It's pretty
Top
good
Gun
slop.
Maverick, that is slop.
That
and it
is slop and a
it's
half,
nice
and
slop.
I will have a second portion. I love that American boy Tom Cruise.
It's got a little syrup in the slop there. It's nice.
Yeah.
Ooh, you got some syrup in your slop, Moby. So the whole thing here, she's on this fucking bed. She's being analyzed by Alice Krige. Alice Krige is like, I don't know, man. You look pretty fucked up to me. Not sure what we can do about it. Anthony Hopkins blusters in. Someone tries to touch her, and then she does the big red explosion
Yeah.
thing again. And now Odin is like, say, oh, I'm interested now in this movie a little bit. So he's like, not accepting of her
Yes,
by any
but it's
means,
like,
but it's
yeah.
like, how did that get inside you, girl? And all that shit. And he's like, my father, well, he tried to hide this really good. You had to go and find it.
Look, it was too powerful. He had to keep it, okay? It's not like a little tiny goblin creature tried to take back the red crimson piss from him.
And with the red crimson piss too. I mean, again, this is like he's like, oh yes, the ether. Well, you know what the ether could do, child. It could bring the universe back under the control of darkness. And that kind of shit is just as bland
What
and
does that mean?
meaningless as power.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I don't know
the
what
fuck does that
darkness
mean?
means in that context. I don't.
Well,
so
I
like
guess
there's
so-
more, the elves are in control.
Is it? I guess the idea now. I don't know for sure. Now is the idea to obliterate all life, like the natural state of the universe, as we know, is pure darkness.
Sure.
We should all be dead. None of us should fucking exist.
Yes.
I've thought that since the day I was born.
Well, yeah, it's all understood.
But is that the end game here? Is this like
no,
the,
but
Well,
the
no,
Dark
he wants
Elves
to
want to like
invade.
open up their own stuff. You know what I mean?
But
They
do
want to open up Ramada Inns. They want to open up
They
Staples.
don't
want to.
tell me that. They say they want darkness.
Yes.
I have to
Well, no-
fucking fill in the.
Oh no,
blanks.
that's what I mean. The darkness is totally vague. That's what we're getting.
That's
at.
what. Yeah, that's what I'm also getting at.
and-
And yeah,
Go and then they change it, and he's like, "Well, actually, I just want to align the 9 realms so that I can, I guess, invade them. Even though I got my ass owned by this old piece of shit back in the day. Yeah, I'm gonna take on 9 fucking realms.
because there were like
I, the Dark Elf King.
there were sects of like Christianity back in the day that thought like the human body was terror, like your body is shit, and we need to end it to get on to the next phase.
Isn't that what most Catholics believe?
The Catholics killed them all, I think, back in sort of a
Oh, like
proto-crusade.
Heaven's Gate people.
Sort of, yeah,
Oh.
but they existed. They've existed throughout all of time. But I'm just saying they're right.
So you want to start your own Heaven's Gate? is what-
I want to start my own Heaven's Gate.
All right.
Oh, the
Well,
other thing
what's it
too
just doing?
is Thor is like something the Dark Elves, and Odin is like, oh yeah, the Dark Elves, they're all dead.
Yeah.
And he's like, are you sure about that, Dad? And he's like, yeah, well, my father committed genocide on them. So
Except for the strongest one, which we shoved into a locker in outer space.
And all of his most loyal supporters.
No, Dad, I've seen a movie before. I'm pretty sure if I saw Dark Elves earlier, we're going to see Dark Elves. No, I got rid of them all. Don't worry
Honestly,
about it.
It's also disturbing that it's like this is an irredeemable race which we've tried to do genocides against.
And I mean, like,
And now I'm gonna finish the job, dear old dad.
it's flirting with what Ragnarok also flirts with a lot better, but Ragnarok also drops that ball, which is like the
Colonials.
the Asgardian as a colonial race that like blah blah blah, and like that doesn't get resolved in that movie either, but at least it spells it out. In
And
this,
they
in
seem
this one,
aware
they
of
don't.
it.
Yes.
I hate to like even try to make things longer, like we talked about run times. Give me a Asgard TV show. I know we have Loki that's not really that, but like let me know what this fucking society was, because I feel like the MCU hinges on me giving a fuck about it, but I don't even know what it is.
Yeah, get BBC's Odin. Anthony Hopkins is just
Honestly,
fucking hanging
if
out.
you could get that, if you can get Anthony Hopkins chewing scenery as Odin for 7 episodes, I will tune in.
Not
That would
bad.
be kind of something.
Not
I
bad.
mean, the closest thing you kind of get in this era, this pre Disney Plus, was that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. show,
Right.
In where like they would sometimes, it's
Wait, what was that? Got it.
The wet stuff.
Oh, no, I think David Bowie's weighing in.
Oh, yeah.
Natalie Portman. I just want to be clear that Moby's also not dating the lead girl from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. But in that show, there would be episodes that, like, if the season was around when a movie came out, like there's an episode of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. where it's all about them assigned to clean up the mess from the end of this movie in England.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I didn't know that.
And so there's like shit going on where there's like a stray, like, I don't remember if it's like a dark elf or an Asgardian. They're like chasing somebody around who shouldn't be there. So sometimes the show would do that. And actually, Sif appears. Maybe it's actually in that episode.
Oh.
So that's like the closest I think you could have come there was if you gave Sif and the Warriors 3 their own kind of thing.
spin-off thing.
Yeah.
And it's like
maybe.
they're like the sheriff of Asgard and
You know,
doing shit. And
Get him out of my movie. You can put him wherever else you want. How about that?
Put it anywhere, pal. Just take it out of the movie and put it
Exactly.
anywhere. Exactly. Right.
The worst editing, and I posted this.
You're right.
It's
You're
bad,
goddamn
dude.
right.
It's literally just Natalie Portman and Chris Hemsworth
God.
about to kiss each other.
Yeah.
He explains something to her. She kisses him, and then she's like, I like the way you explain things.
Ugh.
There's 5 edits in 2 fucking people kissing.
Yes,
Yep,
and
yeah,
it
yeah.
and it does. I saw your post. It looks awkward because they cut closer, and you could have just
Zoom
zoomed
in,
or
like,
something, or
Yep.
And maybe there was like 3 different reshoots for the fucking kiss. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, like make a movie. How about you just make a movie?
you know, not even Moby had 3 shots at that kiss.
Look, What if we made a movie that's all coverage? It's all coverage, just all the different stuff you could do.
But then the fucking the curse breaks into the Asgardian jail cell, and this is the big breakout scene, and this is the big assault on Asgard scene. And some of it's okay. I think that these sex mask wearing dark elves are kind of cool.
This is
I
great.
love those masks because I like sex masks, to be clear.
I like that Malekith turns this dude basically into a suicide bomber.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that's cool.
because he like shoves some like incendiary device inside this gleep gloop thing, and then the dude gets himself arrested. It's a lot like the Dark Knight with
Sure
like the
is.
Joker getting put in there.
Yeah.
And we're gonna break out from the inside.
Malachi put a Malachi. I don't know what his name is.
I did that.
He
I'm
put
sorry.
a cell phone in his flesh that's ringing to set off the bomb.
It's
right.
full of crimson piss.
Got all these kids out there in America today just drinking crimson piss, man. It's the worst Mountain Dew flavor.
But we could change it if you just vote. Just give me $7 and vote.
Just vote a little harder.
$7.
Just pitch in.
Don't vote for red piss Mountain Dew. Vote for blue cum Mountain Dew.
When you flip a switch in the voting booth or you're filling that little hole, just do it a little harder, okay? Just a little-
I
just a
voted
little
so
harder.
hard today, dude. Like, I hope the president is happy with this.
I
I voted
know.
so hard
I hope
today.
Nancy Pelosi eats another fucking ice cream sandwich over it.
Every time I feel somebody vote, I feel the idea that I might get hard again. Just the idea comes in my brain every time you push it.
Hey, Dr. Jill, bunch of people are voting. Better act on this.
We're almost at quarter mast, honey.
My corn pop's tingling, sweetheart.
Hunter, get in here with that penis pump. I know you got it.
My ding-a-ling, my ding-a-ling.
Let me tell you something. You got one of them drugs that makes you hard all the time. Can you give me a-
Dang it, I was going to get hard, but Joe Manchin ruined it. Came in and took my boner away.
It's hard to see where the sun's downed faster, on Asgard or the United States of America.
But this is a big fucking action scene. Some of it's okay,
It's
some
fine.
of it's not. You know,
It's just fine.
it's just fine.
You know, I like seeing guys in armor
Sure.
that look like they might wield swords, but don't worry, they won't.
No.
They have little blasters.
Only
It's
only
just-
Loki has the dagger.
Now, I can understand, like, you want to maybe show one of these societies who've progressed. Why are you wearing the giant helmets then?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, also, like, if the Dark Elves have guns, why wouldn't everyone seems to have laser blasters. Wouldn't it be
Yeah.
a disadvantage for Asgardians to not wield laser
I guess
blasters?
because it's heritage, not hate or whatever, that's why they're wearing all this stuff. I don't get it. I would love to see a fucking sword
because
fight.
the Guardians of the Galaxy could just show up and blast the shit out of all these fucking sword fighting dudes.
Yep, exactly.
yeah, but blasters are not your birthright.
Yeah, but like,
I feel like Asgard should be in another dimension.
That'd be cool.
And we are using swords in that dimension, and then they cross over to, Earth people, and now space guys attack Earth people. So now that's how you bridge those worlds.
well, Rene Russo gets stabbed. That's something.
Great.
Oh yeah, Malekith fucking stabs her right through the back.
What's her name? Frigga?
Frigga.
My wife, Frigga.
Yeah.
Fuck me, Frigga.
Honestly,
Frigga.
and in both movies, she should have more to do. I feel.
Yeah, of course she should. It's fucking Rene Russo. She's great.
I like her having a fight scene with Malekith. That's a nice little
Yes.
back forth. It wasn't
it's
that he
kinda cool.
just takes her. Like, that would have been
Yes.
shitty. That she
Yeah.
can actually fight a little bit, showing that she actually beats him until.
But Natalie Portman's also cowering in the
Yes, of
corner
course.
during that.
Can't win.
Well,
Yeah.
Frigga's a fucking
I know,
magic-tested warrior, and Natalie Portman's pretending to be a scientist.
Well, yes, Thor, of course I taught frickin' Frigga to fight.
Oh, I'm just here for the kisses. I'll be hiding in the corner.
Frigga, use the other end of your sword on me. Frigga. Peg me, Frigga.
I'm opening for you, Frigga.
Frigga. Did you ever date Moby? That's
No,
not how
she
he-
didn't. David Bowie Updates. Rene Russo never dated Moby.
You opened the Moby biography, and there's a whole chapter saying the Rene years.
You know, one time I was at a party and all these ladies were like fighting over me, and I was like, "Oh my god, dude, I am dating Natalie Portman. Please relax. Take it easy, Rene Russo."
I mean, I look like, the nightmare version of a college DJ, and everybody wants that. So,
He certainly does.
Oh man, I woke up one morning, I had like 20 messages on my phone from Pamela Anderson, and I'm like, "Lady, leave it alone. I'm dating Natalie Portman."
We're at the Olive Garden, and in walks Gwen Stefani, Rene Russo, and just, listen, it was Britney Spears, okay? And they were all coming up to me, and I was like, ladies, I know I'm alone at this Olive Garden, but Natalie Portman, who I'm dating, is in the bathroom.
no, I can't let all of you Hawaiian tropic girls live with me for a month. I have to, my beautiful Natalie.
I turned down every Dallas Cowboy cheerleader at the same time. What with dating Natalie Portman, I couldn't fuck all of the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders or the Dallas Cowboys. They were all. I wasn't free to fuck anybody because I was dating Natalie Portman.
I think we just caught you in a lie, Moby. David Bowie, investigate.
Arrest him.
Now on with the concert.
He's deranged.
That show was kind of cool though, because Bowie was talking to God throughout the set.
Oh, dope.
Nice.
Because the thunder was rolling.
Oh,
It's
that's
like,
pretty
you
cool.
God.
Strike me down,
Yeah.
you weakling.
Oh, I'll lick your vein with my tongue. Which he did do.
Oh, that's pretty
It's nice. I got to see him give tongue.
Nice,
Very
dude.
nice.
And I loved it.
So she's dead. Thor blasts Malekith in the face with his hammer, which makes him look a little closer to how he looks in the comics. He's got like a weird, like half-face thing going on.
And also obnoxiously making it harder to tell that it's Chris Eccleston under all of that.
More makeup, dude.
God
Excellent.
damn, just fucking pile it on, baby.
Now, Chris, when we put all this on you, remember, we need you to talk slower. Even slower, Christopher.
I think I'm gonna get Eric with this one. I kind of like the Thor outfit in this with the chainmail arms going on.
Pretty cool.
I
It's
like
pretty
that
cool.
Too,
It's
yeah.
a pretty cool outfit, because it changes every movie. It's a little different. This one, I like this look.
I'm much more into this than I'm sure there's going to be reasons and very funny reasons.
Oh, you're gonna be laughing your tits off, dude.
Why he looks like a yoga teacher now.
Yeah, I know.
But like, I'm like, I like Thor being Thor. Like, of the few things I
Well-
like about this shit, like,
Yeah,
I like the
yes,
costume and
yes.
the guy. I
Yeah.
But
fucking,
remember, Asgard doesn't matter. You know?
it's true. It's very true.
So it's like, hey, dad, why don't we, why don't we go fight Malekith? It's like, no, no, David Bowie again. It's like, no, we'll come to us because we have the ether here. It's like, but that's going to put Jane and Asgard in danger. It's like, well, you have to keep her here. And this is when we have a 20-minute sequence because we need to get Sif involved and we need to get those fucking Warriors 3.
Yep.
And we have to get Loki involved as well.
Of course.
They all need to get together
Sure.
and eat up some clock in this movie to escape Asgard.
It's all of a sudden like this weird, cute Ocean's 11
Yes.
jailbreak movie, and I was like, boom, boom, bop, boom, boom, what are we doing?
I wish if a fucking like a change of score like that might have pepped up my step,
No,
might have gotten me
sure.
re-engaged.
But
Right.
it's also like that's something that you would do for the end of your movie, not the middle or even the beginning of the middle. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, this just feels like the end of the movie, like the fucking
Yes.
it's the siege
You know-
of God fucking Asgard.
You're mentioning music. I'm like, I don't even remember what this was. Was it like faux or
it's just all score.
Crest-
It's all
Score.
score.
Yeah.
all these movies are, right?
Well, no, Ragnarok he throws in the classic. He
Yes.
goes Guardians of the Galaxy.
Which honestly we need to do.
Yeah. Hey,
right?
Hey, if this breakout scene into jail, if all of a sudden Thin Lizzy's jailbreak starts fucking pumping through,
Hell yeah.
I'm really engaged. Hey, at least I like the fucking song.
Yeah.
Or the Dropkick Murphys cover of it, which is also pretty
we
good.
And then suddenly you're cutting your movie to a rock song that's peppy
Yeah.
versus this.
Well, exactly,
the
right.
Score
The
is
fucking-
happening.
The editing can change, like pacing wise,
Exactly.
and you'll
Yeah.
feel
It
something.
feels more energetic.
Yeah.
It's also just weird because up until we're like breaking out of Asgard, this all just feels like the movie is still setting itself up. Like
Yes.
we are still trying to get the engine to turn over here
Yeah.
in the car that is Thor: The Dark World, and it's like this battle sequence like finally gets that going, and the engine turns over.
but you're like an hour into this movie.
I would like the rest of this movie for because now Rene Russo is dead. They give her a cool Viking funeral. Points.
It's pretty great because
That was
actually
nice.
that's a nice moment of like, oh, we're in a different part of Asgard.
Yes.
You're seeing how they handle the dead. It's a fucking cool, like, you think that the boat that she's on, you know, it's going to turn on fire and then go off this waterfall and it flies over it and you see like her energy go up into the sky. It's fucking cool. And like, all that shit is ignored.
This
really
is what I
in this
wanted.
movie.
Like, spend time ingratiating with that society, even if it's courtroom bullshit
Yeah.
or whatever that you might find
I
boring.
got a way to stay on
it will
Asgard,
help.
dude. The villain isn't Malkeith at all. It's evil new stepmother, Alice Krige. She just sneaks on in,
Yep.
starts jacking off Odin. It turns into a Lifetime movie a little bit.
Hell yeah, dude. The wrong new wife.
The wrong new Asgardian queen.
What? All right, this is a kind of crazy idea. So hear me out for a second in this YouTube video I'm making. What if we were making all these Lifetime movies, right? So like the wrong teacher, the wrong stepdad, the wrong neighbor, the wrong girlfriend, right? But they're all in the MCU. So you have this woman dealing with the fact that her friend was murdered and then she stole the friend's baby, right? But she also could have been part of the blip.
That's essentially what WandaVision was.
Holy shit. Yeah,
I
you're
mean,
right.
that's
You know,
just
if you do
you're
baby
right.
napped instead of my dead friend's baby, it could be called like my friend's baby that got blipped.
My friend's blip baby.
My
and
blipping
then,
baby.
Here's what happens: the baby. Now, folks at home,
Frigga, the baby got blipped.
we did a Lifetime movie on our top tier on Patreon called Baby Napped. We reviewed this Lifetime movie about a baby that gets napped and kidnapped.
AKA born and missing, by
But
the way.
blip nap would be cool
Yeah.
because the baby reappears, and if they can get it in time before the mom knows that it
Ooh.
reappeared,
Yep.
Well, that's perfect. I mean, that really, because you would have to be right on time. It's like the hurricane heist. It's perfect timing.
yes,
Nobody's looking about a baby nap.
I like
at this
it.
moment.
I like it. Yeah, exactly.
Everybody,
naps.
everybody's disappearing into flakes.
I mean,
Wait a
oh,
second.
also-
In that movie, hang on, I'm sorry. In that movie, Hurricane Heist, they are intentionally doing that during
Yes,
a hurricane?
during a hurricane because it's the only time they could. Are they robbing Fort Knox? It's something close.
It's
to
something
Fort
big like that.
Yes, it's like, and then the only time we could do it is during a hurricane.
I thought it was just a thing where a bunch of bungling robbers didn't
No,
check
no,
the
no.
weather.
They were checking the weather
Ready.
They-
wow. They
Also,
were
by the way,
prepared.
thinking about the blip now, like that
Yeah.
would be a perfect time. Like, you know, let's just say you're on a podcast and Eric Sisko's on there. You want to murder him. The blip
Yeah.
happens. He doesn't go away. I just stab you and put you in an alley. Like I put you in a bunch of lie. Like, oh, you got blipped, dude. I don't know. He was right here. Blipped him right away.
No, I watched him fade away like flakes.
Yeah,
Eric
no,
just-
no. He got blipped like a day and a half after the blip. Yeah, that happens.
I guess there's more. There's like later blips going on.
There's like residual blips. Did anyone look into that?
Oh man, my ex-wife just blipped away like 6 months after the blip.
Yeah, it's like an afterquake.
That would be happening everywhere. You
Oh,
would not be able to
absolutely.
prosecute murder for anything. Like, nope, dude, I plead the blip. Sorry.
Yeah, plead the blip. I like that.
Yeah, Epstein, that was the blip.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, he was in a cell. He got blipped, but then he came back and his neck was broken.
So it's like all these lawyers, right? And they're trying to prosecute all these missing people, right?
Uh-huh.
And it's like, it's kind of like Law and Order, but in the MCU.
Uh-huh.
But whatever. So like now,
We're escaping from Asgard with the help of Loki because there's something about Loki was always escaping and knew all
yes,
these like
I think that there was
secret
something,
exits or
yeah,
whatever.
something. How did he get out the last time? I guess referring to the Avengers and or yeah, I don't even know. Whatever. He was always getting out without Heimdall's help. So how did he do it? He knew one area that he could go through, which is this tunnel, and it takes you to Piss World. But I mean, it takes forever with all the fucking every single one of because like we're cutting between like them talking about the heist and then it happening, and it's like
Yeah.
and each one like of the Warriors 3 just like takes a bunch of guards out. With them.
Honestly, I feel like the further we get towards the climax, the boringer the movie
It does,
got
yes.
for me.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Especially once we get like Thor and Loki in that spaceship together,
Yes.
where it's like clearly like this previs thing, and they're reacting on a soundstage, not knowing anything that's happening.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we
God.
feel so disconnected. It's not a sense of a cockpit or any disruptions in the ship. We're just cutting to them, showing them, and then showing the destruction that's happening, and their reactions do not match what is happening on screen.
Honestly, everything on the piss planet If you just want to take all that out and get me a fucking intertitle and just explain to me what happened there,
I
I'm
would love
fine.
it. Yeah.
I'm really fine. It doesn't matter. I don't know what happened. Loki is maybe dead, but not really because we like him, so he
'Cause
never dies.
Their plan is like, oh, Loki's going to team up with Thor because he loved his mother, and I mean, like, I do think that him and Hemsworth have a lot of chemistry, and Hiddleston's awesome in these movies.
Yeah.
All truth be told, he is, and he's good on that show too. And he's actually, it's awesome when he's an actor in real movies too. That's also
Yeah,
fun.
yeah, that's a good one. to see.
Well,
Blue
that's
Sea.
what I was laughing at, because there's a effect shot in this where, like, it's right here, basically a little farther back, but it's when Thor goes to the cell and he's trying to ask for Loki's help or whatever, and Loki's very, like, standing there, strong-willed and whatever, and then he's like, "Cut the magic, Loki," and he wipes it away, and, like, I was laughing because the room is totally trashed. There's fucking food everywhere, just books all over the place. He's sitting on the floor. He looks like he's drunk. It's definitely Only Lovers Left Alive.
Yes.
Pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I will say about the escape from the palace and all that. When they steal the elf spaceship and he is flying that, we're doing all these, like, twists and turns through Asgard and whatnot. It's pretty cool, but it just feels too Star Wars.
It does.
It does, and that's
not
my
this movie.
That's my problem with the starships here. But this is after he Malachi Throne or whatever his name is commits this 9L Elvin.
Oh, there
He
it is.
crashes into everything.
He does. He crashes into the Asgardian palace, which is very ill-defined.
And the cursed guy destroys the shield. I mean, it's
Oh yeah, that
It
like,
goes on
protects
forever.
Asgard, yada yada. Does not matter. I would like to put out there for clunkiest line of the movie
Oh, I know where you're going.
is when Jane meets Loki and slaps him in the face and goes, "That was for New York."
Yeah.
What was it? You mess with one of us, you mess with all of
Yeah,
us.
totally, dude.
They talked about the other movie. Thank God.
I will say, I feel like we were talking about Hiddleston a little. I feel like the Loki show is better than any of these Thor movies. Better
I
than
would
any
agree
of
with
him.
that.
In
I agree
this,
with that. Yeah.
I fell off of it, which is
Really?
not because it was bad. I just
think-
wasn't really watching.
I just think it's. I
Yeah,
think
I'm
it's
sure
better than most of the MCU.
I like the first 3 or 4 episodes that I watched.
I'm not saying it's the best thing ever either.
sure.
I haven't seen the episode.
I would say the only one of those I haven't watched is Captain America and Winter Soldier. I watched the first episode. And
I
was like,
saw that and I thought it was pretty bad.
Yeah, I was like, "Proper not for me, Ganda. That's no way." But from the ones I have watched, I think Loki's probably second best. I do really like
Hawkeye.
Hawkeye. I think is the best. Moon Knight is third, and I haven't started watching Ms. Marvel yet, but I do intend on.
Yeah, I really didn't like Moon Knight. It had so much potential, but it just did not
I
get
really
there.
wanted it to sing more
Yeah.
than it does. There's like 2 or 3 episodes where I was like, "Yeah," but like
Yeah.
overall, it didn't.
Yeah.
Didn't really.
So
do
we're
it
on
for me.
Piss Planet.
Yep, got a big fight brewing here.
Because it's just like, oh, we're on Piss Planet, and I guess the plan is for Malekith is going to get the thing out of Jane, so that's going to solve that problem, and then Thor's just going to destroy it. But whoops a doodle, he can't do that because it's an Infinity Gem masked as a ruby Jolly Rancher. I think is how that works. That's my understanding of
Put that in
it.
your pocket, saved for another movie.
Well, it's just a weird, like, okay, we're gonna use this plan to draw. Malachi's gonna take her, draw the ether out of her, and then Thor's just gonna go boom and
Yes.
like what punch a bunch of red gas.
They
in the
found
face.
ether in her, Jack.
They definitely did. And they got it out.
Mr. Thanos, how many licks does it get to the center of an Infinity Stone?
1, 2, 3.
Sick.
But I mean, this whole thing is so dumb. It's a big like Loki ruse here, where they
Fake cut off Thor's hand.
they pretend like it's a big fight between Thor and Loki,
Yeah.
yada yada,
And,
and just doesn't pan out.
It winds up being he takes the ether from her, and now Malekith has it. He basically leaves the planet, and then Curse is fighting them, and he kills Loki whilst Loki kills him. you know?
Now, what is this? Does he come back by the end? I forget already.
Loki does, yes.
yeah,
Of course he
wonderful.
does.
Oh, right.
Well, it'd be cool
he's Odin. He's fake. He faked his death. Right.
But they bury Loki, and I kind of want Natalie Portman to like piss on his grave and be like, That was for New York.
There was that one moment when, like, they tell Stellan Skarsgård that Loki's dead. And he's like, "Oh, thank God!
Yeah.
Oh, my condolences."
Oh yeah, that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
So did they bury him? Is that right?
They do bury him, I think, right? Or they?
Dude,
I
see,
do not
the
remember.
You think of Star Trek Generations again, dude?
he just sort of rots away or whatever. It's just, that's the thing is with these movies, they wash over you.
They do.
It's even after I watched it last night. I was not that drunk. Okay.
Okay. All right.
And I was taking little notes, and even I can't keep track. I don't care. It's hard to care if you don't get me
Well,
invested.
there's no engine to this movie.
Yeah.
So like
Exactly.
that's what keeps you out of it.
There's
So,
no
like,
highs either.
When Eccleston gets the ether like into him, by the way, I just wanted to point out that he sort of physically transforms a second time,
oh Jesus.
making him look even less like Christopher Eccleston.
Which is
Just
nice.
had to put that out there. We're putting more makeup on this motherfucker.
And just they might as well cut his voice box out at one point. Oh, the ether makes him not able to talk anymore.
Oh, he got punched in the throat by Thor. That's the end of
Dude,
that.
that's the thing. Honestly, you could have had a stunt man in that role,
easily.
and it would have been fine.
You'd save fucking couple, $100,000 or whatever you paid this
I can't
dude.
name the Elfman from Hellboy 2 either.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, that's true.
Oh, yeah, because he is, that dark elf is like the main villain of that movie.
Hey,
Yeah.
way
Him and his
better.
sister. Yeah.
I feel now I haven't seen it in a while, but I felt like those fights I could actually.
Oh,
view
Hellboy
with
2.
my-
Hellboy 2 is worlds better than this.
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, it rocks. I rewatched it just recently.
Ooh.
It fucking totally rocks.
Yeah, it's
And
been
you
a
know
while.
what that man has, Eric? That man has a sword that he kills people.
Could you imagine, folks? Now,
not
I
a
know he's
laser
only
sword.
going up against guns and like what is it, like Nazi archaeology or something?
the-
Yeah, that's
the
about right.
but
The weird
yeah.
thing about the Hellboy franchise was those two movies, not the third one that was a reboot, is you had an amazing director.
Yeah.
That really cared about the properties. He really was a fan of the property.
he cared about the property.
Yeah, before it was even a thing. He was a big fan of the comic. And they just said, "Hey, man, go do it."
Yep.
And then they just stayed out of his way and let him make one and a half really good movies. That first one.
I really like that first one.
I
Yeah,
like
it's
the
pretty
first
good.
one.
The second one's amazing.
Yeah, I
I've
haven't
come
seen it
around, and
forever.
now the second one is. I think the second one is better now.
Oh, big time.
By the time back when it was like I'd only seen them in theaters, I thought 2 was lesser. Anyway, where was it? Oh, well, actually, Hellboy is kind of a great example of all this because they fucked him and didn't let him do that third movie, and that's why that 2019 Dave Harbour movie exists.
Ugh.
And it's fucking terrible.
Oh yeah, previous episode if you haven't listened, folks.
Indeed.
But you watch that and it's like, I can't tell one way or the other whether this director gives a fuck about
Exactly.
this character at all. And like, that is why I think Guillermo del Toro, like, is one of our greatest working directors because everything he fucking makes from his early shit in Mexico, like Kronos and whatnot, all the way up to Nightmare Alley, you can tell he loves what he's doing. He loves the story. He loves
Yes.
the characters. He loves the world that
Loves
he's
the
building.
production, yeah. The
passionate.
fucking world. You're right. The world you're building. And I saw people like not be as into Nightmare Alley, and that's fine. But you can't deny the scope of that vision.
Yeah.
Very well
Big
made
time.
movie.
And
I mean,
great-
whatever you said.
I love it. But
Yeah.
You want
I
some
think
great
it's
Tom Hiddleston? Go watch Crimson Peak. Another movie.
Yeah.
People were
Yes.
kind of-
Also
people
good
were
one.
lukewarm on, but I love
I
that
really
movie.
like it too.
Terrence Davies, The Deep Blue Sea, one of like the greatest British
He's
movies
great in that
ever
movie.
made.
He's
Like
fucking great in that
fucking
movie.
phenomenal.
And Only Lovers Left Alive.
Yes.
I'm going to say
Oh
it
well, yeah.
again.
I mean,
Jarmusch, these are great directors.
A
I mean,
number one.
And I mean, that's the thing is we don't do that anymore. I mean, like very rarely, like we just give a director a property and then let him enjoy it or let them enjoy it. I
It's
should
this
say, him or her.
it's a work. It's this weird workaround where it's like Disney's kind of resurrecting the studio system.
Yeah.
But without that craftsman trade of you're not able to work your way up anymore. So it's just these like 5 fart directors that are being circulated.
So whatever. Whoops-a-doodle, Chris O'Dowd's still in this movie, and he calls.
God.
He calls Natalie Portman on Piss Planet, and she's like, "How do I have reception out here?"
Speaking of Eternals, this is just Kit Harington calling and interrupting the movie.
Yeah. You're right.
And
Oh, wow. Yeah. I totally
It's
forgot
just
about
like,
that. Yeah, you're
who
right.
cares?
she finds a porthole to the rest of the movie, because we've been kind of cutting back and forth between Kat Dennings and her intern boyfriend and all this shit, which we're not going to get into because
No,
No,
we're not talking-
doesn't
we're not-
matter.
We've talked enough.
Nope. Stellan Skarsgård shows his butt with underwear on this
Yeah.
time, which is nice, I suppose.
His undies are the color of the Swedish flag, which is pretty cool.
He's a bit svelte in this film, actually. I guess because he needed to get naked. He was like,
I have to do what? Oh, fine.
Well, my son is so goddamn hot. I should be, I guess, a little hot.
Yeah, he probably got some hot tips from his son.
Hey, Bill, teach me how to be hot. I mean, I haven't looked up the is Stellan Skarsgård's wife Athena, like the goddess Athena?
Probably.
Is that how that,
Sure.
is that, how
Yeah.
that dude got made? Because that
might
doesn't
be.
make a whole lot of sense.
Or Rene Russo.
Oh, could it be Rene Russo?
Yeah, I fucked Rene Russo.
Yeah, I can only imagine Alexander Skarsgård coming out of like a golden egg. That's about how I imagine he came into this world.
I don't actually know the answer. I just know that Natalie Portman never dated Moby.
Yeah. I like they get like a Norse-ish guy to play anything very much not related to Asgard, which is fine.
Which actually, I mean, that is kind of a cool thing in that first movie that's not explored enough, is him being like, these are all figures from my childhood story.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah. It's
to
a cool
really
idea.
lean into that.
Like, tell the movie through Dr. Eric Selvig's point of view.
Yeah.
That would be something.
But, you know, he just shows up, and now we are just gobbledygooking the rest of the movie. It's
Woo!
like we have these ill-defined, I mean, like literally ill-defined rods that are the rest of the movie. It's like, if we get all these in one place, it's going to beat Malkeith. And I'm like, wait, how? Wait,
Yeah.
what? And like none of it's like something, gravity. Sure.
they are counting on you not paying attention to the movie
Well,
anymore.
absolutely.
Well,
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, especially this because they did explain this stupid thing when they have a scene of Skarsgård in a capital L, capital B loony bin when he's like explaining everything, and he's like, "See, this is the end of the movie. Don't you understand?
And
This is how the movie's
where
gonna end."
we get the Stan Lee cameo.
Yes,
I think you said it
with the
earlier.
shoes.
Oh, right. Yeah. Give me my shoe back. Or can I have my shoe back? It's yeah.
He's
the
doing a
stupid-
model of the shoes being like the convergence of these planets,
and this
the
like,
realms.
it's a weird thing where like they've already told you that he's been put away. You already know about the naked arrest or whatever.
Yeah.
So this scene of him like just giving this monologue about his scientific theory and whatever, and then the joke is supposed to be they cut to the other angle and he's just in the loony bin and whatnot. But it's like the joke doesn't hit because I know where he is.
Yes.
You already
Yeah.
told me what happened.
I mean, I guess the punchline is it's Stan Lee. You know what I mean? And maybe
Well, I
That's
guess that.
it.
if
yeah.
they're going to start using like, you know, old footage of Stan Lee just to be these cameos, it'd be great if he in every movie, Marvel movie going forward, it's like, can I have my shoe back? It's just like he's just kind of a crazy old man.
shoe guy, yeah.
Can I
He
have
showed
my
up in the Eternals?
Can I have my soul back?
Totally.
The answer is no, Stan.
No, you sold that long ago when you stole everyone else's fucking shit.
I'm sorry, Ditko. I'm sorry for it all.
I'm sorry for what I did.
I'm keeping it in a jar, Stan. I look at your soul every once in a while. It makes me feel mighty comfortable.
So like, yeah, the last act is in London, and
Woo!
we've got to go back to this fucking. It's not the same parking lot. It's just I don't even know where we are.
Well, the
We're
whole
outside
thing is they determined that in a neighborhood sort of outside-ish
Yeah.
of London, like
Yes.
city area.
Greenwich,
I love that.
think Greenwich, yes.
Yeah, it's great to see that London looks terrible too. You know, because I know America looks boring and shitty, but it's cool to see the UK have that as well.
It's essentially America if all of America was Seattle. It's raining all the fucking time in that goddamn country.
Oh, what was it? Did they fall in the egg at this point? This big egg building. I think that's where the Easter Bunny lives. At his palace.
They're on the other side of the river from the egg, I think, because I read that this where the ship sort of pulls a speed 2 and just starts driving from the water onto the land is the British like Naval Academy or something like that.
Yeah.
And this last fight, it's all over the place. The elves are around, Kat Dennings gets a couple of them. She kisses the guy, and the joke and the quote unquote interesting thing about the movie, this last act, is like we keep bouncing around in both on Earth and in these other realms,
Right, because the Swiss cheesiness of the universe halls is like that's how we do the fight scene between Thor and Malkeith. Is like I punched you through a hole and now we're on this realm.
Yeah.
And
I mean, this thing is like, it could have been cool if they went really trippy with it.
Yes.
Like, use some colors and some vibrancy.
I
to
think you
these
go back
portals.
to Jotunheim, I believe, which
Yes.
is the Frost Giants place where Loki
Yes.
comes from. And like,
Right.
that's just Hoth.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
saw that in the fucking first movie. I heard somewhere There were 9 of these realms.
Exactly. We see 3.5 at most.
Is Shit Planet a realm, or is that a different
No,
thing?
yeah, that is a realm. Is that Vandalheim? No, it's one of the Heims.
Vanaheim?
That's Svartalheim.
Oh, sure.
It's Piss Planet.
They should just call it Piss
It's
Planet.
much
Yeah,
easier to
please,
remember.
Come on.
And I mean, like, you know, this fight is going on, all this shit's happening, and like there's so little urgency that Thor takes the train, and I know it's a joke, and we love that in Marvel movies to just cut out any fucking, because the gag is he gets knocked
Yeah.
on the subway, and he's like, do you know which way Greenwich is? And like they're like, oh, it's this way, it's three stops this way, and like it's just Thor taking the train. And I get that like is funny, but isn't the universe at stake? Like, you know what I mean? You told me that the universe was at stake.
It's like the darkest hour, you know. He's like, taking a
Like, oh, this is what all you non-gods do to get around, eh? Just taking the subway or the tube, excuse me.
Oh my God, he's just like me. I also take train.
Ooh, he'd take train good.
He does. He's got good
And we have to
form.
remind that he's hot because there's just some like sexy lady who's like,
Oh, yes.
oh my God, this guy's hot. Like she like bumps into him and they have like a flirty look. And it's like,
Yeah.
I've realized that this man is attractive.
Wait,
I
that
really
doesn't
have.
happen to everyone on trains? Just me?
I mean, it is.
No, I get negative energy thrown at me from old ladies, literally.
Well, she's negging you because she read the pickup artist's book.
Hell yeah, that's true. That's true.
I think some of the cooler kind of stuff that they wind up doing with the physics of the universe halls is like, you know, when he's fighting Malkeith and like he throws the hammer at him and like misses and it goes into a hole and then like comes out another place, or like
It goes into space for a second.
it
there.
goes like, because it's trying to like, it always goes back to Thor, so it's like you're not on Earth anymore, I'm gonna fly up this way into space, and then Thor goes back to Earth and it's got to turn around, which is kind of funny. There's a little bit of that sort of
Yeah,
works.
that stuff is fun. I mean, like, again,
The British Air Force guys fly the jets through the hole like accidentally. It's like, what in the world is this?
I mean, this is also the future, I think, of Marvel. Portal fights,
yes.
dimension fights. You are really,
Yeah.
in the next decade, you are going to see quite a lot of them, I got to tell you.
Yeah.
not super thrilled about that.
I bet you that fucking Quantum Mania is nothing but.
Yeah.
Ugh, that's gonna be rough. It's gonna be rough because it's gonna be annoyingly confusing like that. Also,
Yes.
you really get the vibe none of them motherfuckers wanted to make that movie.
Nope.
No.
So we shall see. I will say, get me a little more Michelle Pfeiffer in that third movie.
Wouldn't
Now we're
mind it.
talking.
Would not mind it.
Right? She was the wife that
She's
disappeared.
Michael
into the
Douglas's
quantum-
wife. Yeah.
Yes, she was Michael Douglas's wife in the last Ant-Man movie. But Michelle Pfeiffer has also never dated Moby.
I don't even think she knows what songs he's done.
Oh, I wish David Bowie was alive to just tell us about the loser updates of Moby.
Yeah, you know, and eventually, like, Malkeith is defeated.
Well,
Just kidding.
originally-
Oh, surprise.
Whoa. Isn't that something?
Originally, the thing was Thor was going to call upon lightning from all 9 realms and destroy Malkeith
That's
that way.
something.
Yep.
But instead, because it's like, well, no, the other human characters need to contribute.
Yeah.
So he starts jabbing him with these ill-defined rods, and it's like, no, the
No.
rods are getting me. And it's like, what the
God
fuck?
damn it. The fucking space lightning made sense.
The space lightning is cool. It's Thor. That's what you're there for. You want a big
Yeah.
lightning strike, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that'd be cool.
Yes.
As opposed to him just hucking fucking, I don't even, like, pool umbrellas at him.
Yeah.
Essentially.
And he like, isn't it the whole thing is he essentially like collapses in on himself like Curse did?
He turns into like a big spaghetti guy.
Oh, great.
The
Fantastic.
funny thing, though, about, because they're like, oh, to really get him, we got to get these rods, like, you know,
Yeah.
nail him with these fuckers. And Thor's like, well, I'm the only one powerful enough to get to him because there's this big red cyclone going on.
Oh,
So,
right.
like, you have this scientific device that this person is trying to get into the middle of a cyclone.
Sure.
This is just what they're trying to do in Twister. It's the Dust Man and all the rest of them
Yeah,
are
yeah.
trying to launch that Dorothy device. It's the same shit.
Eric, Jane, get the Pepsi mobiles. We need them.
And then carry all those unrealized ideas.
So yeah, he I guess gets blasted back to the dark realm. Is that the idea?
He does, and then he's on a ship and it explodes. It's like a double. There's like a double whammy.
Right, because the ship that he flew is going to fall on Thor, but it falls through one of those portals and then falls on him.
Because
in this other
Stellan
world.
Skarsgård thought to like run in and really do it with one of these poles, so that like the hole was big enough that that's right. The whole ship collapses in and it like falls on his dick.
But
and kills
Thor,
him.
the god of thunder, actually pulling lightning from 9 realms and killing the dude that killed his mother. Probably a better ending.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you're the guy playing Ian the intern, or any of these, like even Stellan Skarsgård and fucking Darcy, whatever her name is, Kat Dennings, yes. That's like, I know you want to be in the movie and you like being in the movie,
Sure,
but I feel like it's kind of your responsibility to be like, and this isn't true, I'm being facetious, but like, I don't know, man, I just wish someone was like, you know what, this is kind of dumb and we don't need to help out, and you should have the God of Thunder avenge his mother's death on his own.
That's it.
That's all.
You got this one, Thor. We'll hang back.
We had fun bits already.
There's a lot going on. They could do something else.
Fuck. Okay, Kat Dennings said no. Get another list of sitcom girls and call them all that exactly. Sitcom girls. And then have them read, because we're not getting rid of this shit.
That sitcom probably came after this, right? She was still.
No, that was
current.
Yeah.
Was it really?
Went on forever.
Really?
That thing,
I gotta
just
check these
recently
numbers.
fucking ended, right? It was like 2 years ago.
Oh,
I think.
sitcom girls. I have a list. Kaylee Cuoco didn't date Moby. Also, Allison Hannigan didn't date Moby.
Julia Louis-Dreyfus didn't date Moby.
Two Broke Girls, 2011 to 2017.
Yes,
that's
that was
not-
on. Well, so 2011 was actually a big year for her. That show starts and the first Thor comes out. That's not too bad.
She's testing well at the time.
Yeah.
Katie Sagal didn't date Moby.
Courtney Cox. She was called by Moby multiple times. Didn't date him. Too busy with David Arquette.
Went right to voicemail.
Don't ask me about any of the women from ER, because I'm only talking about those sweet, sweet sitcom girls.
Now it's like a David sitcom girls.
Oh, totally, dude. You're my sitcom girl.
Yeah, I like this.
My sequel to Fame has just come out. The Little China Girl as well. We can't sing that one as much anymore.
No, you definitely can't.
We're going to do a whole verse about Christina Applegate.
I went to Germany and I wrote a song called Sitcom Girls.
I ran out of all the coke in Los Angeles and I went to Berlin. And
Courtney Thorne-Smith, this is for you.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah. According to Jim, more like according to Courtney.
yes, here's a little something for that girl from Becca. We'll go on to the Saw movies. Can't quite place the name.
According to Jim, according to Moby, he's dated every woman on this planet.
Moby was closer to dating Jim Belushi than he was dating Natalie Portman.
Oh, dude, the Moby after the blip. Oh, no, my girlfriend got blipped away. Shit, she was right here. Oh,
She
no.
was so hot. You should have seen her.
Yeah, any famous, attractive woman, he's like, oh, yeah, I was secretly dating her.
Oh,
yeah.
it's
It
just,
just sucks. I'm
Yep.
sorry. Yeah. Here's this picture. It's like cut out of a magazine, Costanza-wise.
I think Moby might be music's biggest loser.
He's up there.
This is a picture of me, David Bowie. This is not your girlfriend. This is an ad I did in 1975.
This is me clearly dressed up as Ziggy Stardust. I wasn't your girlfriend then, and I'm not now.
And now Moby will never get back to that secret meatpacking nightclub.
So I was dressed up as Ziggy Stardust for this ad for Sizzler. And you just cut it out as your own.
Well, Ziggy Stardust advertising Sizzler. That was a low point for Ziggy.
It's always hot, baby.
Whatever.
A baked potato that will blow your fucking mind.
They're deep frying the spiders from Mars.
Can we have some deep fried spiders from Mars for the table?
Something. So everything, all is well.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, oh, we're sorry Jane Thor went away again. She's like, well, it's only been 2 days. And then the last scene is Thor, the last true scene of the movie. Again, always need to specify this. The last real scene of your movie is Thor going to his father, Odin, saying, I'm renouncing the throne because I'd rather be a good man than a great king, which really kind of wasn't his journey in this movie, but
No,
sure.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at
It
all.
just wasn't. It just wasn't. So, but
But it was your birthright.
I mean, it would have been cool to see the pomp and circumstance of him trying to fill Odin's shoes and going through Asgardian court
Exactly.
and figuring it out.
he learns that, and then he decides, oh no, I want to be a hero instead, and that's a movie.
That's
but,
something.
Yeah.
but and then at the end, holy shit, it's Loki actually is Odin. Credits. That's going to be resolved in 9 minutes in the next movie.
And just because I don't know if anyone's wondering out there, you want to specify that scene where it's like 2 days after the big adventure and they're telling Jane, like, don't wait for Thor and whatever, like 2 days later, it is definitely Natalie Portman stars in Wig Factory.
Oh yeah.
In this thing, it's bad. It's a fucking SNL wig. Looks really terrible.
She must look like Moby under there.
It's even worse because the stinger, the first stinger, as we talked about, the collector, blah blah blah. It's
Just want to say about that scene, one, it's directed by James Gunn.
yes.
Two, the set looks like a fucking, if you can imagine, a cheaper Power Rangers TV set.
Yes.
It looks so, it's like
It looks like shit. Yeah.
just nothing.
Trash.
Like you can't, where's the middle ground? It's either like these big computer painting sort of landscape things or tiny ass little cheap fucking TV sets. No
Yep.
middle ground.
Which one is the one with Howard the Duck? Is that Guardians of the Galaxy?
That's in
when
Guardians
he
of the
shows
Galaxy.
up?
They go
Okay.
back and
Yeah,
Howard
yeah.
the Duck is there.
Yeah.
And is that in a stinger or is that just part of the movie?
That's a
Stinger.
stinger. Yeah.
and it's Seth Green?
yes. I think he says like
Let's just do that. That's
Why
a
not?
TV show.
That's
not?
I would watch that. But the true stinger scene,
Yes.
which actually really completes the actual movie, which is like
Mhm.
Jane and Thor get together, but Natalie Portman wasn't around for the reshoot, so it's just Chris Hemsworth's wife making out with Chris Hemsworth at the end of that movie.
Yep.
That's literally because
Okay.
she's like that's around Natalie Portman, and they
Also-
didn't fucking wrap the movie.
You kind of don't need it either.
You
We
don't
can
need
get
it.
it next time. You know there's a next time.
Or that needs to be the end of the movie, is them ending on a big kiss. Not the I don't know. I should have to wait through the fucking production credits to see them complete that thing.
Yeah, I mean, take the collector thing, put that at the very, very end,
Mhm.
and this
Yep,
other
yep.
scene, leave it in the movie before the credit. Because, like, if the whole thing is, he tells Odin, like, "Hey, man, I'm gonna have to say no on. That's a big
Yeah.
no on me becoming the king of Asgard,
Sure.
dude.
Yeah.
Sorry about that." And he's like, "Hey, man, are you doing this for pussy?" And he's like, "No, she doesn't even know I'm here. I'm definitely, am I? Yeah, I'm definitely not doing this for pussy. Excellent."
It turns out he is.
And then it's like, okay, cool. Then the last shot is like what this is, which is she's sitting in her kitchen. Almost said she's shitting in her kitchen. Maybe.
Maybe.
I mean, I'd be shitting in my kitchen if outside the window the Bifrost just opened up right there.
Yeah.
But like that, he comes down and then they're just making out, and it's like, all right, you know what I mean? Like there it is.
Well, it's like doing that officer and the gentleman scene in the middle of the credits. Like, you know what I mean? Because that's
yeah,
the movie ends. They're not together. It's like, oh, that sucks. Oh no, but did you left before the middle of the credits? No, he comes in and picks her up at the factory, puts the hat on.
That's right.
Love,
And like,
love lifts them up where they belong.
It's in the middle of the credits, not in the movie.
Yeah, yeah.
It's in the middle of the credits.
oh, did you go to the bathroom? Oh, it was 4 minutes into the credits. Oh, you missed the ending of an officer.
Did you see? Yeah, it sucks at the end of Crocodile Dundee. They don't get together. Oh no. If you went to the credits, he walks over to people in the airport. And they get together. It's really, really amazing.
Now, I don't have beef with stingers. I mean,
Yes.
you know, I will admit that when I see these movies, half the time I have to text Steve immediately afterwards if he's not with me in the theater to be like, the fuck was that? And a lot of time he's like, man, I don't even know. But like, if it's the logical
Yes.
conclusion of your film, does not a stinger make? Put that in the end of the movie.
Really bummed
yeah.
out by that Harry Met Sally. Everyone says it's a great romantic comedy, and then at New Year's Eve they just don't get together. And it just ended.
Oh my God. I mean, so you didn't say when she says, I hate you, Harry, I hate you, and then they start making out?
When was that?
Oh, it was the end of the movie. It was like 6 minutes into the credits.
Oh no, it's on the credits that I logically left the fucking theater.
Because it was all the cast, and then we started to get into the production stuff, and then when you get somewhere around gaffers, it just stopped, and then the end of the movie happened.
I mean, it was so sad how that movie ended with Claire Danes just crying over Leonardo DiCaprio. Oh, you didn't watch in the credits? Oh yeah, she kills herself. She blows her head right off. Yeah. No. It's she's not just crying. No. She
Oh yeah, she kills herself.
she does that too. But the thing with the you gotta imagine it was, hey Alan, Hey, Chris Hemsworth. Hey, how you doing? Hey, Alan. You see, I got an anniversary coming up, and the lady would like to be in MCU technically. So could you maybe, just for a scene, mate, could you maybe put her in?
Happy anniversary, baby.
She's like, what?
And if you could, could you maybe call her Natalie?
So since
And
his-
Moby's like, what? Say your wife is the same shape as Natalie Portman.
Yeah,
You know, I
interesting.
dated her.
If you throw all the hair in her face so you don't see her, yeah.
I mean, if so like Natalie wasn't available, right? We do this thing with the wife coming in. I mean, did they just like pull a green screen down like in their house?
Yeah, definitely.
Put the fucking Thor costume on. They sent like, a couple of crew folk
Yeah,
to sort of light
sure.
it and camera operators and shit, but it's just like, yeah, you can do this from a backyard and then we'll have a barbecue.
If not then, they're definitely doing that now.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
And that is blissfully the end of Thor: The Dark World. Eric, we'll start with you. What do you think of the
Sure,
movie,
I
man?
want to tell people that it's okay to, not think about anything we said today. It's okay to like this movie. It's okay to like anything. We don't personally viciously hate the MCU, just a few of the movies. An Iron Man 3 is our Patreon.
it is.
Coming out this
selection
month, that's right.
And we had a great time with it. And we all enjoyed Iron Man 3. But no, I don't enjoy this movie. I wanted something to hold on to. I revisited Thor 1 and I thought it was way better than this. That's my opinion. Take it if you want it, or take it or leave a penny, take a penny, whatever you want to do.
Chris Cabin.
Wow. Yeah, I'm gonna say no. It's a piece of shit.
Well,
Yeah. And I mean, like, I like some MCU movies too, but of course, I do very, very honestly believe it is a cancer on society. Like them if you like, but that's my personal opinion. I again, any highs, like anything to draw me, like the design of the ships and the way that they like crash into things is kind of the highlight.
Yeah.
Of a 2-hour movie made by the most powerful fucking company, film company in this world.
In the history of this
It
world,
just-
I think we could say at this point.
Ludicrous. Terrible
That's right.
movie.
Steve, tell everybody about your chart.
I made a fun chart of all the Marvel movies that have come out, and I do like a lot of them. I kind of want to do a thought exercise, like which ones do I like, which ones I think are flawed, and I wound up with like you follow me on Twitter, you can find it, and this is my second to least. This is the second to worst Marvel movie, I think. Eternals is worse because it's
Right.
3 hours and it's about characters I actually don't care about at all. At least you've got, Hemsworth is in this. You've got Natalie Portman, even though, it's whatever. This is the second to worst because nobody gives a shit. Everyone came out and hated this movie. Like, Natalie Portman almost quit because Patty Jenkins was supposed to direct it. Even Chris Hemsworth said that this movie's just meh. Idris Elba hated this movie. Chris Eccleston hated this movie. Nobody enjoyed making this movie, but they had to make it.
Well, and
Alan
fucking
Taylor
Alan
even.
Taylor
Yes.
was like, oh, they also, and the same fucking thing happened to Raimi, and that's why, like, fool me once, man, you know,
Yes.
but like, he was like, oh yeah, I had a good time making the movie that I made, and then what they locked me out of the editing room and made instead is not the movie I made, and that's a real bummer.
Wow.
And that was like, Raimi was like, yeah, I made a movie, and now they're doing a bunch of reshoots and shit, and I guess that's just what you do.
Raimi
And-
at least had his editor, the guy who edits all of his. He's like editing for Evil Man. That's a thing.
But it
with-
was the same, like, these are notes, and
Yes.
you will cater to
You
them.
have
these things
to do
have to be
this.
in the movie.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's a bummer. It's I think that Thor Ragnarok is the best of the Thor movies thus far, and it's not even that good because it's a bit of a mess, but at least they get to a better place with the character and the world, and it is really colorful and interesting, and the music.
Yeah.
So hopefully Love and Thunder is the best of these movies. That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah, I mean, until Eternals, this was my most disliked MCU, and now it is indeed in the second to last place. And there are things that I like here, and I've expressed them today. There's a lot that's really cool about this, and it's just frustrating when you have a lot of cool elements and things like, parts of the story and visual and characters that I all like, and you can see everything there, and it's like, oh, this could all work. And then it just 100% does not. And it's executed so poorly and haphazardly, and it's very frustrating. This is the worst of the Thor movies so far. I cannot imagine
knock on wood here, that Love and Thunder is any worse than this. What a Duke-tastrophe. What a Mob-tastrophe. What did David Bowie think about this movie?
He loved it.
Yeah, terrible taste in movies, that Bowie. That was the problem. He made good movies. He loved terrible movies. But that is going to do it for Alan Taylor's Thor Dark World, or Thor the Dark World, I guess. But if you want more We Hate Movies, check out patreon.com/We Hate Movies, where we have said this month the We Love Movies episode there at the $5 level is indeed Iron Man 3.
MCU Love Fest this month as well.
We already recorded it. We had a great time on that episode. The Mandarin impressions are flowing like cheap wine. So enjoy. It's a lot of fun, honestly. We had a great time talking about that movie.
Really fun. We did a Beverly Hills, a Melrose 210. We already got that guy in the can. That's
with
a lot
of Steve Sanders being humiliated on the Beverly Hills 90210 episode. Love it.
That's what you want. Who we got in the Gleep Glossary in July?
We are talking about Thorlom, the droid bounty hunter that's got kind of a bug head. I believe he had a cameo in Obi-Wan Kenobi that he got shot. He survived. Thank God.
Thank God.
Thank goodness.
Oh, thank God.
Thank goodness that all.
Does he have a GoFundMe? I can get
news out of Dallas. Forlom has been shot.
Thankfully, the 9 realms weren't in a line, so he's fine.
But all that and more on patreon.com/We Hate Movies. Now, Steve Sadak, the Summer Blockbuster Extravaganza, which this episode is also a part of. I don't know if I mentioned that. Continues next Tuesday. A new episode here on We Hate Movies. What are we talking about?
Oh, if it was the early aughts, you'd love it if I said, we're releasing the Kraken next week.
Oh, hell yeah.
Remember, that was the big one, the big catchphrase from
right.
Clash of the Titans.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh,
Now,
boy.
this is a movie I have not seen because when I saw the first preview for it, I was like, absolutely not for me.
I saw it in the theater because I'm a big fan. I'm going to revisit it leading up to this episode.
You love a good sword and sandal picture.
I love Sword and Sandals, the Harry Henryhausen like monsters and stuff. When I was in Berlin one time, I got to see the models from the original
nice.
Clash of the Titans.
Yeah.
I have a ton of fun with that weird claymation, skeleton type of Sword and Sandals. So it's going to be interesting to revisit that and this 2012 film we'll be talking about next week.
Yeah.
So there you go, folks. Until next week, when we indeed release the Kraken. I'm Andrew Jupin.
Steven Sadak.
Eric Siska.
Chris Cabin.
Take it easy.
That was a HeadGum podcast.